Thank you, Mayim. I gotta get your shirts ordered. When we're done with the show tonight, let's do that, okay?
Okay. You got my list, right?
Yeah, but I just want you here just to be safe.
Got it.
All right. Wimkin's working.
All right.
Wimkin looks good. Going live.
Loading.
I am live on Wimkin.
Yep, we're good to go.
All right, leaving Wimkin. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the Don't Unfriend Me show. We got Matt in the house tonight. Leroy and Amy also in the house tonight.
Amy's not in the house.
I know, that's why I said Olivia.
Is Amy really here?
She's here in spirit. In spirit.
Okay,
I don't know.
Well, we'll take spirit. I'll take that.
You know, I was looking at the table of contents that I wrote, and I didn't change her name. So this shows that I have no brain, and it's okay. There's nothing wrong with that, I guess.
If
welcome
you were
to the
to change your name, would it be Olivia?
Sure. Sure. Okay. Let's just say yes. Turning down that overhead light a little bit. There we go. Much muy bien. Put a little white on there. There it is. Okay, that looks good. All right. Welcome to the Don't Unfriend Me show. What are we doing tonight? We are talking about a whole bunch of weird stiff. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. Donald Trump's going to show up at 7 o'clock or so, and we might show it. I don't know. We got a lot to. I mean, this could be a rapid fire show. I've got so much. I mean, I got a lot. So we'll see. We'll see in 3 seconds, 3 minutes, after 3 seconds. What the hell ever. You know what I mean.
I know what you mean.
Yes, you do. Hold the phone. Peggy Hubbard is here saying howdy. And Peggy looks like, who does she look like in this picture?
Let me see.
She looks a little bit like Alania.
I don't know.
It's like, I don't know. Somebody. I don't know. Peggy Hubbard looks like, I don't know. Somebody. I'll come up with it. I don't know. We'll figure it out later. Step into a Wimkin. Now we got to ask Peggy Hubbard who she gets, like, who's your celebrity doppelganger? Because it's driving me crazy. I can't figure it out. I hate that. Peggy, when everyone says you look like somebody, who would that be? Thanks.
Hey, Matt, congratulations on your success, brother. And I really appreciate you giving, both sides, and just free speech the opportunity to have a platform, dude.
Got it. You got it. Thanks for everything you've done for this country, Eli. We'll talk next time. Tell Jen hello, and I'll have this ready in a couple of hours, and you can share it and take a look. That seems like forever ago.
Yeah, it does.
Doesn't
it
it?
was what, over 2 years ago, right?
Oh, more, yeah, and like he's up for re-election, but it's just like, minor communication between the two of us. He was on the floor, and then he's just poofed because he's gone mainstream. I mean, he's probably in the top 20 most recognizable state legislator in the country now because of everything that he's done with the Freedom Caucus. So I mean, it's good, but I still want to talk to him again. But when you've been on Jocko and Joe Rogan, I mean, come on, he's not going to come back on here. But maybe someday. But either way, it was a hell of a time talking to him. And of course, I wish him the best. But it just seems like it was forever ago. But there it is. Yeah. Anyway,
Such a good
all right. He is a great dude. Thank you, man.
Thanks, brother.
All right. Bye-bye. Computer.
quaint.
What's going on, everybody? Matthew Spear from the Don't Unfriend Me show. I am proud to announce that the Documents of Freedom are back in stock. It's a 3-book collection, leather bound, by Arcadia Publishing. Starts out with the Bill of Rights, and it's the complete edition of the rights, so you can look up and reference anything your heart desires. Declaration of Independence, with revisions and founder images included, beautifully illustrated. And last but not least, what would Documents of Freedom be without the Constitution of the United States of America in its entirety? The box is handmade by PFC Flags, custom engraving, all 100% made in the USA from the nails to the glue. And we have a 5-star rating, satisfaction guaranteed, 150 sold 5 stars or better. It is so important, especially in today's society, to ensure that the younger generation has these books available in the future. Get them for your family and friends, available right now. Head on over to thedumshow.com/books. Thanks so much. I don't think we're going to get an answer.
Adjusting transmitter output.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me show with your hosts, Matt, Leroy, Amy, and Olivia. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on all major social media channels at The DUM Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.
What is going on, Don't Unfriend Me Nation? I don't know who Peggy looks like.
Somebody said she's from Right Talk Radio.
Oh,
She actually is from
I don't know.
the person she looks like, or Peggy is from Right
Peggy
Talk?
Hubbard from Right Talk Radio, question mark.
I
don't know.
I don't know, but she looks like Megan Fox. That's who I was thinking.
Oh, yeah, I see that.
She totally looks like Megan Fox. And that's
totally
when I
see
saw her,
that.
I was like, gosh, she looks like somebody. If Peggy Hubbard is from Right Talk Radio, I feel bad for calling her out. I didn't mean to do that. Let me see. Talk Radio. Let me see. No, that's not Peggy Hubbard, the one that I saw in that picture.
Oh,
No.
okay.
No, I'm not insulting Peggy Hubbard. I'm just saying there is no chance in hell that lady from Right Talk Radio could be confused with Peggy Hubbard. Peggy Hubbard, when I saw her photo, I was like, God, she looks so familiar. Here it is. It's like Megan Fox before Megan Fox went crazy. I'm trying to see if I could do this. Hold on a second. There. Yeah, a little bit.
I could see a little bit of Melania, too. In there.
Yeah, a little bit of
She's
Melania. Yeah, no, I agree.
flies.
But that's what when you see somebody, you're like, oh my God, that person looks familiar. Where could they possibly be? Every time I see Leroy, I think of Brutus from
Johnson.
Popeye.
Mr. Clean?
No, I was gonna say Brutus from Popeye.
that one too.
Or Mr. Clean.
Ooh, Kimberly Guilfoyle?
Yeah, a little bit like Kimberly Guilfoyle. Yeah, I think that's fair. Before all the DuPont plastic. Folks, Don't Unfriend Me coffee. Here is an official bag. 1 pound. Wow, that's a heavy one. Liv,
Yes. I'm dying over here.
come on, Vanna.
Sorry.
1 pound coffee. This is the FJB brand. This is caramel and honey. And trust me, when I say flavored coffee sucks, flavored coffee sucks. This is not flavored coffee. This is just a hint. Very, very subtle. Amazing. If you have a French press, it'll knock your socks off. Doesn't matter. We have Tomahawk. We have NITM, which is napalm in the morning. We have Moab. We have FJB. And then Kami for communism. And that's decaf. If you look at the back, it's got a full Ziploc for your pleasure, which is great. Is that you can... You can't smell it. You can't smell a thing.
No, you can't.
It is 100% factory sealed. It was just roasted yesterday. It's already in my hand. You peel this back, and it's got a Ziploc so you can put it in the freezer. I don't recommend a long time in the freezer because that reduces the oils. But you can keep this in your fridge. That's absolutely fine. You can just put it in a sealed container, but it zips up like a body bag, hence the black. Folks, don't unfriend me coffee. Go get some. It's 10% off right now if you use code DUM10 and go buy yourself some coffee. Leroy, good to have you back in the house, man. How are we doing?
Good. How are you? Everything's really well. Things have been really busy. I was thinking about it as that commercial was going on about the books of the documents of freedom, and as I was balancing that out with what I saw on the news today, I thought to myself, you know what? I wish everybody had a set of these just so that they could listen to the news and listen to what your politicians are doing and find those lanes and find out when your politicians are being dishonest with your freedoms. And this will tell you.
You don't even need to open up the book and figure that out. Just if they're talking, you're pretty much getting dishonest stuff. We got a lot to cover. I'm not sure this person's name who's on YouTube.
I don't either. They said hello, and I'm not quite sure.
It's
quite figure it out.
I don't know. It's got to be Chinese.
Well, hello, if I can pronounce that. It looks like Hadirella, maybe something like that. Hodi,
Sure.
Ricola.
Anyway,
That's gonna be what Ricola
Ricola.
sounds good.
Is it Ricola? It's Ricola. It doesn't matter. It sounds Persian. I don't know if that's true. We'll find out. He'll tell us. He'll be like, dude, I'm not Persian.
He's like, I'm Italian. What are you thinking? Yeah.
I'm not sure.
I have no idea.
I don't either. I just,
What am I saying?
Listen, there is some limits to my intellectual capacity. Not going to lie. Let me get you zoomed in there, big guy. You're a little off center. There you go. Gave you a little bit of height. All right, we got a lot to do. We have a metric shit ton to do. By the way, folks, if you do not know, we are we're just going to call it 1,200 away from our goal. We have 7 days, Liv. Is that right?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
We got to do like 175 a night to make it. I think this is the first time in 5 months we don't hit goal.
Yeah,
And
we're what?
we got
100 or
1,200.
1,100.
1,200.
1,200.
1,200 away, basically.
Okay.
So we got 1,200 in 7 days. So we're going to need, all I need is a miracle. All I need is you. Name the band.
Mike and the
All
Mechanics.
I need is Mike and the Mechanics for the win.
Would never have gotten that.
You're welcome.
Matt, I can't get those books because they sent me a code, but it went to my old phone number. Can I just cash app you $70 for the books or something like that? You can go on to the site and just put in a credit card. You can use PayPal on the site. You can use Venmo on the site. That's going to be the easiest thing. And I have to keep it on my business because if you send me something outside of PayPal, I have to do another tax liability, and I don't want to do that because it's going to cost me $275 to file another company. So I keep everything to PayPal. It's just easy. And people are like, I want Venmo. And I'm like, I don't want to file another tax record. I just want to keep it as simple as possible for the business. So if you would not mind doing me a favor and just charge with a credit card or send it to PayPal, that would be awesome. But we'll get you taken care of. Okay, we got a lot to do. I mean, we have a lot to do. There was a show we did earlier today. Well, I did earlier today. I mean, Leroy was busy and so was Olivia. But it had to do with voting and talking to Christians and gun owners. And folks, if there's one thing you do in this election, you have got to get and talk to your relatives, friends, and family who do not vote.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you have got to tell them to get their asses out and vote. I'm telling you right now, you've got, as far as Christians, around 56% of Christians don't vote. Around 67% of gun owners don't vote. And this is out of registered voters, folks. These are pitiful numbers. And you're going to have women turn out for this vote. There's no doubt about it. You're going to have the younger generation turn out for this vote. If we just had Christians turn out 80% and gun owners turn out 60%, this election would be over. It'd be over. It's a landslide.
Yeah.
You're talking add 50 million votes for Trump. That's what you're talking about with just a 30% extra turnout on those and that demographic. See, so people are like, oh, well, there's more Democrats than there are Republicans. Yeah, there are more Democrats than there are Republicans, but there certainly aren't more Democrats than gun owners and Christians. Go ahead, Leroy.
Well, and I'm glad you say that because by percentage of turnout, even since the late 1980s, voter turnout has rarely exceeded. Yeah, I think in the 80s it was like close to 55%. In the year 2000, it was still 54.3%. By the time we hit registered voters who came out to actually vote, and by the time 2016 came around, it was tipping closer to like. It was when it was way more contentious. It was closer to 60%. So, to your point, if the registered voters that are already on database would just get out of the house and make their opinions known, this would be in the bag.
And not just that. Remember when we went through the breakdown of the states on Friday, and I showed you, Leroy just confirmed what I told you, which is great because he didn't even watch the show. So he told you that even during the most.
I apologize because I didn't.
No, that's okay. I don't expect you to, but it actually lends to the credibility of the show is that I explained to you that about 61% of America voted 2020 in the most contentious election. Yep. But you looked at the swing states and all of them were up to 70 to 71. So why were the swing states 11% when the average of swing states was only about 4.5%, 5% on a swing state? We know why. Thank you, Amy, so much for starting off our donation, $5.65. Appreciate you. So I just wanted to make sure everyone understood it. Now, I'm going to try to break down a state each night, and I thought it would be imperative to do that so everyone can kind of relax and focus on the things that are the most important. This is really good news. And excuse me, I want to go ahead and break down Pennsylvania because I want to show you this real quick. By voter registration, and this is comparing Pennsylvania to where it was in 2020 to where it is now. This shows the 67. Thank you, Hugh. Hugh Janus. We appreciate Hugh Janus. There's not an anus quite. There's not an anus quite like yours.
I didn't read that.
Anus like Matt does.
And after that donation, trust me, I'm going to be exploring all areas of that huge anus. I wish I could shake your hand.
I didn't get that at first.
So here are the 67 counties broken up into Pennsylvania. And I am officially excited to announce that Pennsylvania is now in the Republican column as far as registered voters. And it is not even close. They have lost ground in Pennsylvania decisively. And I want to show you.
Now, do you think that Kamala's snubbing of Shapiro has anything to do with that?
Well, no, we're going to talk about that because I think Shapiro put himself in really hot water. The Democrats hurt themselves today. I'm going to talk to you about that too. That's a great question. Okay. This is as of 10/23. This shows you percentage of Democrats versus percentage of blue counties. Look at this. I mean, this is massive. Now, here's the difference totals. This is going to blow you away. Here are the registered stats. Bucks County, 2,132 plus Republicans. Center is 1,279 plus Democrats. Erie is 10,097 plus Democrats. Lackawanna is 28,000 plus Democrats. Luzerne is flipped, plus 100 Republicans. Monroe plus 8,000 Democrats. Northampton plus 12,000. And here are the county shifts over this week alone. Bucks is plus 267. Center is now 156. Erie is plus 117. Folks, that's freaking 10,000 votes flipped to Republican. Hold on. Lackawanna is plus 180. Luzerne is plus 321. Monroe is plus 26. And Northampton plus 59. Here are the flips. I'm putting it in chat. So you were like, oh my God, look at all those Democrat strongholds and how those Democrats were absolutely running away with it in 2023. Not anymore. all those strongholds, you are talking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 counties flipped Republican in a Democrat absolute must win in Pennsylvania. That is unfreaking believable. Thank you, Diesel's Mission Canine Rescue and Rehabilitation, Karen. We appreciate you very much. So that is a massive, massive victory, because that means the Republican ground game is working. But it also means that people are not happy with Kamala because of a few things. Leroy, give us a couple things that they would not be happy about.
All right. Well, this is actually a pretty simple list. When the Democrats are trying to leverage their current political platform, they hash pretty harshly on abortion. But Pennsylvania is ranked 10th in the nation in terms of abortion, and they're ranked 20th in the nation in terms of unemployment. Pennsylvania has a population of about 4.2 million people, which means that roughly 1.3 million of those would lie in the Republican column, and about 1.397 and firmly in the Democrat column. Now, what's interesting there is that the state median household income is only about $68,000. The number one industry to come out of Pennsylvania still is energy. So when we're talking about the Democrat ground game in terms of Pennsylvania, abortion is not very, it's like in the middle. They're not very high, but the number one industry there being fracking, that's going to hurt how many people if Kamala really had her wish come true, which is a ban on fracking.
Joseph.
So I think this is a lot of Pennsylvania saying, hey, no, look, we are not good with her policy. Is that a good rundown?
Yeah. No, I think it's a great rundown. And Joseph, thank you for your donation. We greatly appreciate it. Don't worry about it. We're going to try to do that good. When we get a donation. We're going to wait till the person's done talking. No big deal. It's just to make the show. Here's Shapiro. So here's the question. You have to ask yourself, why would Pennsylvanians be losing support? Well, first of all, the Amish are not happy in any way, shape, or form with Democrats. And one is because the Amish, traditional Amish in Pennsylvania, do not believe in, obviously, conflict in the sense of going to war, going overseas. This is something that they're not happy with. There's a lot of independent voters, and especially the Amish are. He also pointed to the energy, but the optics like this is not popular. This is not popular with Pennsylvanians, and I'll tell you why. But let's watch this video. Here's Josh Shapiro, who was considered a very high-quality candidate for vice president, and by far stronger than Tim Walz. But because he's a Jew, let's just face it. We can sit here and pretend and mince words, but I'm not going to do that. He's a Jew. And Kamala Harris, whether she is now pretending she cares about Jews, she doesn't. And you can go to her daughter, who fundraised for Hamas on Instagram and raised money for Hamas. We can talk about her husband, who has not disavowed what her daughter did, has not challenged the way Kamala Harris has spoken about Israel prior to her presidential run. He is just a whipping boy, and he's a closet Jew. He's, in my opinion.
The sad thing is, that's her stepdaughter.
I know.
That's his biological daughter.
I know. And so she has renounced her beliefs, and it's insanity. So to assume that they were going to bring Shapiro on is crazy. But here is what's interesting. This is a bomb factory in Pennsylvania. These are artillery shells of various size and various degrees. And this bomb factory, Zelensky was greeted on a C-17 today. They flew him in on a C-17 on our tax dollars. The United States Air Force flew a foreign leader onto Pennsylvania soil in an Air Force jet, brought him to a U.S. bomb factory. And Shapiro greeted him when we did not greet Netanyahu when he flew into Edwards. Biden and Kamala did not. Dude, not only that, well, wait till you see this shit. Here's Zelensky, all 5'4" of him, and Shapiro. Watch this. I don't know if anyone remembers, but Nikki Haley wound up signing some warheads that were going to be delivered to Hamas vertically. And people said she was a warmonger. I wonder how people feel about the Democrat Party with bringing Zelensky in on American aircraft into a American depot and signing bombs with Josh Shapiro. Who wants to go?
Liv,
You could go.
I will say this. I don't think that I have heard a single conversation in the last 6, 8 months, 3 years, really, where somebody from the left has in some way, shape, or form tried to make sure that all of America was on the same page and saying war is bad. We don't agree with it, right? So long as that war was started under like a Republican administration, because they're all for making sure that everyone knows whatever Bush did was bad, or excuse me, I'm sorry, but everything that Obama did was good, and Hillary Clinton good, Warhawk good, I think it's just one of those cases where this is do as I say, not as I do. Nikki Haley signed bombs, so clearly she is for the war. When Shapiro does it somehow, it's to save peace, save the world, to salvage democracy in a critical portion of the world. I think that's probably the message that the optic that they would try and use.
It's interesting, right? It's interesting. And when you look at the offensive capabilities that are being created for Ukraine, not just to defend their country, but to go onto the offense, it makes it a very difficult conversation to say that this is strictly for defensive purposes. I don't think killing Ukrainians is okay. I think it's wrong. I think Vladimir Putin's wrong. I think he needs to be stopped 100%. But I think we need to stop fucking around is what I think.
How much have we given Ukraine?
175 billion now. It's time to stop fucking around. And either we take this. Thank you, Nancy Jennings, for the super chat. We appreciate it. She says, and I love this because when you super chat, you get to say something cool. It says from Nancy, Matt, aren't we a constitutional republic, not a democracy? There is a big difference. But here's the thing. Are we in and not to shift gears too much, but this is a great question. And if you're going to throw $5 at us, we're going to give you the minute. Are we a constitutional republic? No, not anymore. We used to be. But we have. Yeah, we have moved to a democracy. We are officially a democracy because we have mob rule. And it's no longer about the individual rights of the people, which is what a republic is. A republic believes in the individual rights in order to have the collective, all boats rise at high tide. Democracy believes that the collective, and ultimately we do what the mob wants, and everyone will be taken care of, which isn't the way it works because everybody's needs are not the same. But if you go ahead and focus on the individual, the rights of the individual, the end result will not be the same, but everyone will have equal opportunity to achieve like results. It's a very different way. Republics are focused on the rule of law. And a democracy, although we have representative democracy in our government, in the sense of that we elect people to a station, how our government works, like in a manifestation sense, is everything but a democracy. We elect our people that way, but that's not how we run our government. It's not done by majority rule. The Supreme Court, legislation, finances are done because that is the way that we elect our representatives. But if you look at our laws, it's not done by a democracy. It's not done by a singular plus one opinion. It is absolutely 100% the majority, and unilaterally they all have to agree when it comes to the law. When you look at changing a constitutional amendment, it's not a plus one mentality. You change a constitutional amendment, you have to have 3/4 of the states agree. When you talk about proposing an amendment, it's 2/3, 66%. So democracy is a plus one advantage. which is saying is if one person agrees over the medium line of 50-50, then that represents the people. And that's not what it represents. So do we have a constitutional republic? In name only. And that's the best, because I simply look at these elections.
No.
Republicans have to cheat in order to win, and that's what they're doing. Republicans are most assuredly now cheating. And they're just playing by Democrats' games. And people are like, oh, come on, they're just, it's quid pro quo. Sure. That's exactly what it is. It's playing keeping up with the Joneses. Nebraska, they're talking about moving the 5 split vote, and they're going to move it to 1 winner take all. Well, that means 5 for Trump. New Hampshire can't get this through their body in legislation in time for this. So Nebraska has a very good chance to go to 5. You take a look at Montana. Montana is scrubbing people from the registry. Texas is doing it. I mean, there is just this overall, we're going to make it as difficult as possible for Democrats to cheat. And Democrats are like, we're going to cheat. And people are all upset. Democrats are like, this is horrible. And it's like, well, you know what? We don't have a choice. If you're going to bring mass bodies in here and you're not going to balance the voter registries and you're not going to allow us to play the same games that you play, then we're going to go ahead and just cheat better than you. And honestly, that's not what a republic is. Someone chime in. I'm going off. I'm pissed off.
What the left has done is they are pulling so far to the left that what they've been able to do is, in some cases, legally try and figure out how to move those goalposts so that they can win in certain key areas.
Right.
Now, that sounds great. But while that's happening, and again, this is all done legally, folks, while that's happening, the right is losing ground so quick that, it's like the anchor man at the end of a tug of war. And at some point, somebody has to say, all right, look, they're doing some pretty unscrupulous things. And that's why that's why the balance is off now. So we have to do the same thing in the opposite direction. And that whole time that's happening, what is being sacrificed? It's the individual liberties. So what Matt is talking about is that prioritization. A democracy is the prioritization of a group over the individual rights. But in a constitutional republic, it's supposed to be that the priority is individual rights over the group. And we're quickly seeing that kind of in jeopardy, we'll say.
And I just want to put a bow on this. I'm not saying Republicans are cheating, because then that would require Democrats to admit that they're cheating. Right. This is what happens during this is all legal. It's all legal, folks. This is what I tried to tell you about the 2020 election. Whenever said it's cheating, I said, no, it's not. There's no precedent. So what they're doing by ultimately making Nebraska winner take all, they're negating New Hampshire, and they're ultimately making Kamala Harris pick up another swing state, which is already going to be close, because I already broke it down to you why. I wish you got to go watch Friday, dude. It was really good. I broke down how he's kicking ass in all the swing states, and people are like, he's behind. And I said, yeah, but he's not behind as much as he was in 2016 and 2020. And they undervalued his performance by like 5 to 10%. He's right there with her. And you got to throw that 5% needle of that shadow vote, because it's bigger now in 16 than it are bigger now in 2024 than it certainly was in 20, and probably at least equivalent to what it was in 2016. People are more scared to say they vote for Trump than ever. That's why you see less Trump signs in a lot of places.
As of today, election betting odds has Harris at 53%, Trump at 45.9%. Polymarket shows Harris at 51% and Trump at 48%. Now, here's the thing. This is where it gets interesting. In the swing states that Matt is talking about, Arizona, Trump is ahead by 5% right now. He's at 50, whereas Harris is at 45. Georgia is currently Trump by 4%. It's 49. It's 49, 50, 45. North Carolina.
Can I ask
Trump
you what
is
poll
ahead
you're
by
using?
2%.
What poll are
I
you
pulled
using?
that one.
Is it Rasmussen or is this
I think
collective?
it was Rasmussen.
You got to go to collective. That's one poll. We got to do collective if we're going to do it. But go ahead and do that, and then we'll correct it.
Well, I'm just saying that when the news goes ahead and puts out their numbers, it's either going to be CNN or Fox or whatever the case is. It's always going to be biased to some degree, right? Keeping an eye on election betting odds and poly market and things like you have to take it all into account. You can't just use one source like what Matt is talking about. So yeah.
And I'm not, but here's the only reason I'm saying that. And it's certainly not to contradict you. That's not my design. It's the fact that I gave information that was very different on Friday. And I don't want to contradict each other. So he is polling from Rasmussen, which is, it sounds familiar, which is fine. That's just one outlier. But you have to go ahead and you have to take the best for Trump and throw it out the window, and the best for Kamala, throw it out the window, the worst for Trump, and you got to get a national average. And the national average is that he is within 0.5% to 1%. That's perfect.
Yes.
Because that ultimately means he's ahead by 5%. Because I told you the poll is soft. You get a soft result because people don't want to be seen as chauvinistic, racist, or a Trump supporter. You put all three of those together, and people are going to be gun shy to say Trump. Okay, so I want you to focus on that. I got mad on my phone and Trump rally on my TV. Good. I'm glad you do. Karen, we don't need to clear the air. I'm already good. We should talk soon, Matt. Clear the air. That's fine. If you want to clear, I don't think we need to clear the air. I'm completely good. I've moved on from that. I thought we were done with that. But if you want to clear the air, we can. Needless to say, Pennsylvania looks really good.
Yeah.
And to see what's happening there, that is a very good sign for Virginia, because early indications are that a lot of Republicans are getting out and voting early. And that is probably the best sign we could possibly do. Now, Christians and gun owners need to get out on day of. I want to show you Philadelphia. Olivia, I want you to see this too. Okay. This was last night in Philadelphia. And I mean, this looks like something out of the Joker movie, man.
Wow.
I hope they all get arrested.
That's what you want. That's democracy, technically. That is democracy, technically.
It's dude. This is
The will
going
of
to
the
get out
people.
It's going to get out of control. I'm telling you, it's going to get out. If he wins, that's what we're going to see in every city across America, every big city, every blue city. That's what it's going to look like. Except there'll be fires, and it's going to get nasty. If they put Trump in office, people are going to get hurt. And like I said, the civil war that you're anticipating is us versus the government. That's not what you're going to see. It's going to be those cities against cops. And then finally, the people who support the police, which will be a lot of conservatives and sheriffs and rural counties, are going to get involved. And then it's going to be inner city versus rural. That's the war we're talking about. And if you think that it can't happen, well, I beg you to look at Venezuela. I beg you to look at every single revolution that has taken place in France. Folks, we're not that far removed from our own revolution. Does everyone understand this? It's not like this was eons ago. It's not like this is eons ago. We're not that far removed from our own. And if you look at the history and the timetable of countries through their existence, and whether it be the Ming Dynasty or whether it be Russian czars or whether it be the Egyptians, or the Mongolians, the Greeks, the Japanese, revolutions take place in all of those. And if you think that we're that far removed from it, this is going to get out of hand. It's not a matter of when, it's a matter of, or about if, it's a matter of when. Okay? So this is just the beginning. They're letting us know this is going to fire off.
It's not unlike a drought if you think about it, right? You
Yeah.
set the conditions, you deprive everyone of water for a while. All it takes is, in this case, liberty. And next thing you know, one good spark and you get a flash fire.
Yeah, it's a good point. I've been singing the praises. Liv, what do you think? I mean, we're close to Pennsylvania and Philly. We hate Philly, don't we?
Yes.
What a crap.
Especially their hockey and baseball teams.
Yeah, what a shithole. I can't stand that place.
Yeah.
We
Went
almost had
there.
to move there.
Yeah, went there one
Really?
time, and I'm totally okay without doing it again.
Yeah, there was a vice presidency for Comcast, and they were talking about me taking it.
Yeah. I mean, it was fun to go around the city, and I would like to take the kids there to see the history. But that's about it.
Yeah, I'm not.
A couple day visit, but that would be it to see the history of it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm
You
good
know, I
without
talked
being
about
in
it.
there again.
I talked about it before. There's 4.2 million people in the state of Pennsylvania, but in Philadelphia there is 1.5 million of that.
Yeah, it's half
mean,
the size
how?
of Denver.
It's crazy.
Yeah, can you believe Denver is almost 3 million? Greater Denver area is now bigger than Philadelphia. I mean, and Phoenix, my God, Phoenix is right up there. Houston is it past Chicago. I think Houston's the third biggest city in the United States now.
I know Arizona, when we moved there in 2008, was one of the fastest growing cities in the U.S. I know that.
Houston's number 3. Houston took over Chicago like 2 or 3 years ago. And I know that because Comcast, we took over the Chicago district. And that's why we got 5G and they didn't. So
Way
Or
back
not-
when you first started covering this, Matt, you were I had no knowledge of Maricopa County. You were the one who was like kind of opened my eyes a little bit on that front. Like the population of Maricopa County is insane.
Yeah. And that's why I tried to tell people when
Yeah.
they're like, Carrie Lake is going to win. I said, no, she's not. There's not a chance
Maricopa's
in effing
huge.
hell she's going to win. And Charlie Kirk stood up there for 3 weeks and just lied to it. Well, he didn't lie. He just guessed wrong. And I'm like, you guys, Charlie Kirk's wrong. And people were so pissed and so angry. I mean, oh, you're a rhino. You're turning against the Republican Party. No, it's called fact.
Doing the math.
I'm just
Yeah.
going to do the math. There's just no way, not based upon the historical turnout. And, we're going to go over this during the election, but right now the math looks really good for Trump. I'm just letting you know, and down ticket. New York is where the House and the Senate's going to wind up being. And if New York goes the way we think it's going to go, then the House and the Senate's going to go, they're going to give Trump a mandate. Or they give the House and the Senate and they give Kamala. I don't see that. They are repudiating Joe Biden's policies, and America knows that Kamala Harris is just going to put the same policies in place. Usually it takes about 8 to 12 years for Democrats to screw up this bad. For him to do it in one term is actually a horrible thing, but it's also a blessing. Usually after that 8 to 12 year mark, America goes, okay, no more Democrats. We're done. We're like on the downslide. And they know the balance. You got to bring balance to the force. Republicans are excellent at bringing military, protecting the borders, and geopolitical situations. Democrats are really good for social issues and infrastructure. We've had enough socialism or social issues. We passed infrastructure and it's not doing any fucking good. How many people got free broadband right now? Can anyone tell me? None. Okay, great. Well, so that's a waste of money. Where have we moved with global warming? Well, he's actually reducing regulation in order to keep up with energy demand. So that doesn't do anything. So the infrastructure bill was a giant failure. Anybody plugged in an EV car lately? How's that hour and 45-minute wait in line? How many have they built? How many bus stations have been built? What about the railways that were supposed to be subsidized and funded? What railways got completed? None.
You want to know what's funny is when Ethan and I went to the grocery store the other night, they now have 2 EV parking spots and some big ass Ford F-250 diesel truck parked himself right in the middle of the
I
spot.
love it. I love
was
it.
like, oh my gosh, that's
I love
funny.
it. That's great. Got a whole bunch to do tonight. I just want to say ranked choice voting is the worst ever. The Republican primary in Virginia is that way. And essentially with your vote, you say there's 7 people running, you would vote 1 through 7 in order of who you would want to prefer.
Rank
And
them,
then,
yeah.
and then they go ahead and rank them based upon the number. So if you have somebody who gets 80% number 2 votes and the 1 vote gets 50 of number 1 and this person gets 80, they're equivalent. So that's ridiculous. It's a point system. It's like a round robin tournament. That's not the way it should work. It should be most votes wins, but ranked choice voting gives an opportunity for the number 2 and 3rd and 4th place to steal votes from number 1 and project number 2 forward or number 3 forward, depending upon the amount of votes they get. It is not the way we should vote, but places like Washington and a few others do this. Virginia did it in its primaries, and it's crap. And it's why Brandon Michon did not beat Hung Cao and Wexler, whatever her face was. This is why. Brandon Michon had it. He was going to be the Republican nominee, but Hung Cao came in and just got a shite ton of first, second, and third place votes. Brandon got a ton of first place votes, but did not get the second and third place vote and therefore lost. It is not the way you should do business, ever. Ever. You guys, I've been talking about Megyn Kelly. Megyn Kelly decided to make my case for me. You guys have heard me break down the documents case, the E. Jean Carroll case, the overall fraud case, and the stolen election case. You've heard me break these down. Megyn Kelly, I have now made it my life's mission that I will find a way to either be on her show or get her on or something. I don't care what it takes, because I tell you, this woman and I share the same brain. I am so freaking excited for what she did right here. It was awesome. Take a listen.
She's hot.
Yeah, she is hot. But that's not why.
Adjusting transmitter output.
Wrong button.
So here it is. Watch this. This is incredible. She just...
I think Trump on appeal will win. There are so many holes.
She demolishes.
I think Trump on appeal will win. There are so many holes in that case, so I don't think Trump will ever do one single day in jail.
So, Megan, if we look at the 5 cases, 6 months from now, or a year from now, let's assume all 5 of them go to trial. He's guilty of 3 so far.
Wait, what do you mean he's guilty of 3 so far?
Well, he's been convicted of 3. Sorry.
What do you mean? No, he hasn't.
No, he hasn't.
E. Jean Carroll was guilty.
That was not a conviction. That was a civil case.
Yes.
Okay, well, yes, so that's what I'm talking about. So that
Okay,
one,
but there's a big difference.
it's still he was convicted. He was guilty of that. So you got a settlement.
Guilty and innocence aren't used in civil. It's overall liability.
Yeah.
So you're either liable or not liable. Okay. So I had this argument with like 3 douche plows today that are like, Trump's a rapist. I said, interesting. When was he convicted of rape? They said with E. Jean Carroll. I said, no, he wasn't. Here's the court document where the judge said absolutely not. Second, he went ahead and absolved him of rape, and then said that he did not touch her physically, but was guilty of sexual assault. So completely confusion. And then when the judge was gone and everything was done and the court was dismissed, he told reporters that he actually was guilty of rape. Well, the judge doesn't get to make that determination. That means he falsified records, and the judge should be absolutely disrobed and defrocked and tarred and feathered and quartered and disbarred if he falsified court documents when he was really guilty of rape. So he wasn't. It was his personal opinion. It's a very big difference between libel and convicted. The preponderance of evidence is not the same in a civil trial as a criminal trial. In fact, it's not even remotely close. Almost good enough gets you money in a civil trial. Listen to me. Almost good enough. 51% guilt gets you paid. Thank you, Christine Clark. We certainly need those. Thank you so much. All right, let's listen to this. Oh, never mind.
Isn't that funny that the judge would say he's guilty of sexual assault even though there was no physical contact, and then on the people on the far left, and we've seen people like Ben Shapiro and Michael Knowles show up at certain campuses where people will make that claim. They will say, no, speech is violence. You're like,
right.
How is that even possible? Right.
Exactly.
And so you kind of get this feeling already that the judge had this far left leaning ideology already brewing in his head just by entertaining that thought.
You don't think the statute of limitations going ahead and expiring and them still bringing charges has anything to do with it, do you? Oh, yeah. Come on. Megyn Kelly goes through this beautifully. By the way, folks, I want to say thanks to Facebook for not throttling us tonight. It's amazing when I call you out in a post and actually specifically say Facebook is throttling me, that all of a sudden we've got people showing up on Facebook. Oh, geez, isn't that funny? Why don't you take the genital cuff off this show and let's see what this fucker can really do? Because I'm confident that we would have 1,000 people watching if you pricks didn't throttle us. We've got 200,000 fans, and I promise you, I guarantee you, 1% is ready to participate. But you guys won't let it happen.
We got our payday from Facebook today too.
How much?
$121.
$168
cents.
$121 from anywhere from $8,000 to $15,000 last year. That's nice. Okay, let's watch. I don't want to get depressed. Folks, we're short of our goal. Help us out if you can. Thanks.
Yeah, and the Trump organization, they're guilty there.
That
okay,
again was
the CFO.
civil, libel.
Yes, of course. But these are the cases we're talking about. And in the third one...
you know she's a lawyer, right?
Yeah, of course. And in the third one... I'm just talking about the 5 cases. Yes, some are civil, obviously, and some are not. Some are criminal. But if we look
You
at all
said
5
3
cases,
convictions. Now you're walking it back.
I'm not walking it back. There's
Get it
3 in
straight.
which he was...
You should walk it back.
I'm
Okay, guys,
so
take it
glad
easy.
Megan is here.
Of the 5,
No, don't take it easy. Don't ever take it easy against these pieces of shit. These people are sitting up there in their fucking suits and their $3,000 frickin' wristwatches, and they're pretending that they know what they're talking about, and they don't. I think you should go after these pricks and never stop. And not only run over them once, but back up and keep running over them until they are literally going down the storm drain in a liquid, dilapidated mess, because they have been doing this shit for too long. I love her. I love my wife, and this isn't a sexual thing. This is simply, I love Megyn Kelly. I've been watching her now for the last 2 months, and I love how she just is taking it to these guys.
She's extremely smart. I can say she is 100 times smarter than me.
No, that's not
Yes,
true.
it is.
No, because it depends on what she knows that it depends on what you're talking about. There's things that I will crush Ben Shapiro on. And that's what's great about Shapiro is he knows that. He knows when he can be outdone on certain things. And there are things that I will never argue with Ben Shapiro about. The same thing goes with Nick Fuentes and Jordan Peterson. These guys aren't stupid. Fuentes is just an ignorant dick, but he's not stupid. He's smart. He surprisingly is smart. But Megyn Kelly knows the law. And she knows this topic like I know this topic. And I will challenge anyone to come on this show and talk about his cases. And I promise you, you will walk out of here with your tail between your legs.
There's a fallacy that's actually associated with that. It's called the appeal to authority fallacy. And it's when we assign people who in high-ranking positions, people like this guy, some level of credibility just by the virtue of the fact that they have a show. And so people just automatically assume, oh, he's an expert. And to Matt's point, when they get up there in their fancy suits and everything, and they assume that this person is an expert in their field, and then they say shit like that, Trump has been convicted, and Megyn calls him out on it. No, please point that out because words matter. We're talking about having precise speech for a reason. And it's that gray area that the left absolutely has to play around in order to make their case. But when you use precise speech, all of those arguments fall apart. I love Megyn Kelly for that.
And 34 convictions in a clerical error that were misdemeanors, that were upgraded to felonies, that were past the statute of limitations at the State Department, that the Department of Justice and the attorneys general and the state prosecutor all turned down, including Bragg, in 2018, and then brought it back in 2024, 2023, because Trump was running. Yeah, that's not political. If you think that Donald Trump handles his books, you are a level of stupid that I can't even begin to encroach upon. If you think Donald Trump actually files his books and writes in on his memos what things are going where and where his dollars are going, and he handles his T&E, you're insane.
Same thing with the classified documents. Do you think it was Donald Trump himself who physically picked up the box and took him to his closet in Mar-a-Lago?
Right.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Well, that's why this is falling apart, because there's no there. Listen, this is why you take this real simple, okay? Georgia fell apart, and they're throwing out some of these indictments like they're going out of style. These charges are dropping like flies. You take a look at the document scandal. That's been pretty much, Jack Smith is screwed. He's going to try to bring up new charges. He's going to do whatever he can because the guy's a complete incensed douche plow. And those are all getting tossed out of the side. Bragg is going to lose on appeal. E. Jean Carroll, because it's civil, it'll probably reduce the fine because you're going to find that the fine is disproportionate to the actual accusation and the findings of liability. But all of this stuff will be handled after the election. But they have thrown everything at this guy. 2 impeachments. $52 million Mueller investigation where they didn't find any Russian collusion, but they went back 15 years and hit guys like Manafort and Roger Stone because they have shady business dealings. Well, that's the way it works. And I promise you this, if you go digging into my past, you will find shit. When you go digging for garbage, trust me, you will find it on every human being on the planet.
Sure.
Every human being on the planet. So don't give me this holier than thou bullshit about Donald Trump, how he was a criminal, but he wasn't a criminal until he ran for president.
Three of them, he's either guilty or
He got a bad result.
Yeah, got a bad result. There are 2 more. If he is found guilty of those 2 more, Megan, and 5 of 5, he had a bad result. Way to frame it. Will you chalk all 5 up in your mind to 5 different jurisdictions, 5 different prosecutors, 5 different juries and or judges?
Nope.
All conspiring to get him?
Yep.
100%.
Fucking ain't right, girl.
That's all I wanted to hear your answer to. 5 of 5 different jurisdictions.
Yeah.
You think it's
I mean,
all
E. Jean
lawfare?
Carroll, they changed the law so that she could bring a civil lawsuit
No
against
problem.
him, and she did. New York went 87% for Joe Biden. That fix was in right from the start.
Lower Manhattan Correction and the district they specifically polled for and sampled the most went 91% for Joe Biden. Just want to give my girl a little bit of help.
Fraud trial that Letitia James brought against him has never been brought. There's no victims. The banks who were involved said, we didn't lose a penny. What are we doing here? We weren't damaged. Nobody was complaining except Tish James, who ran for office saying, I will get him. Then you have Alvin Bragg, who's a George Soros-funded prosecutor who doesn't like to prosecute any crime in New York City, where I lived for 17 years, except if your name is Donald Trump. Let's go down to Georgia, where Fani Willis and Nathan Wade couldn't keep their libidos in check long enough to actually bring this case against Donald Trump. It's a repeat of what was happening in January 6th up in the case with Judge Chutkan, who loathes Trump and has sentenced almost every J6 defendant to way more jail time than their counterparts would get. Those are falling apart because of presidential immunity, which was handed down by the Supreme Court, who said you cannot bring a criminal case against a sitting president for any official act. Those cases have been gutted. Also a Supreme Court ruling saying the same on January 6 defendants in general. And that leaves us with Florida and the documents. And Trump has torn that apart because Jack Smith wasn't properly appointed and isn't the right counsel. But there are other issues. They haven't even gotten to presidential immunity there. And so that one's going nowhere as well. And by the way, they're going to appeal it up to the 11th Circuit. She just threw it out. The 11th Circuit is conservative. And thank God so is the current Supreme Court. They're not going to tolerate that nonsense.
Let me ask you about...
I think Jay Cal just lost his right to ever bring up lawfare again.
That is how you fillet a fish. That's it. Take out the spine and rip the guts out. Period. Go ahead, Leroy.
Real quick, at the beginning of the show, we had one of our listeners who had a comment and said, "Hey, are we still a republic? Are we a democracy or are we a constitutional republic?" And there's the evidence right there. Exactly what Megyn Kelly just described. In a democracy, it investigates people in search of a crime in order to achieve some sort of political outcome. But in a republic, we investigate crimes in search of justice. And what she just described was exactly the playbook that the Democrats use. It is investigating a person in search of a crime.
And this is the thing that gets me more than anything is when people say, well, you're okay with him raping a woman. First of all, I'm not going to answer a question when the premise is completely unfounded and incorrect. So what I will do is address how you're wrong about what you said, and then we can go ahead and pontificate and fill it with conjecture. So here's your answer. Every single person in the United States is awarded the presumption of innocence. And it takes a no, let me try that again. Every single person in the United States is awarded the presumption of innocence. Whether you try to take that away or not, they are still innocent until proven guilty. Now, they may throw you in jail, they may imprison you, they may gag you, they may silence you, they may go ahead and extort you, they may hurt your family, but you are still innocent under the court of law. And they may kill you. They may put you to death, but you're still innocent until proven guilty. They cannot do that. They cannot take away your rights. There's no such thing. They can do whatever they can to destroy you and kill you and burn you at the stake, but nobody can take away your right. Nobody can take your right to freedom. Nobody can take your right to speech. Nobody can take your right to bear arms. No one can take your right to a fair and speedy trial. Nobody can take you that they cannot force quartering of troops on you. We can go on and on and on and on and on and on and on. They can do whatever they can to make your life miserable and terrible, but you are awarded the presumption of innocence. So therefore, what it comes down to is when you ask me, am I completely okay with Donald Trump raping E. Jean Carroll? I will not answer that question because the question is false. You are making a false dichotomy. I will not entertain that. What I will tell you is that until he is actually tried and convicted in a criminal court of law, he is innocent. And that the forbearance of guilt is not for me or you to apply. It is for the person making the accusation that he is guilty. That is their job. It's not mine. It's not yours. Now, you could have your opinion. You could have your little feelings. And you can have your little emotions when you're sitting there holding yourself in the bed at night and shivering out of just pure rage that Donald Trump isn't in jail. That's fine. But with $4.25 in that, I can get one great fucking cup of coffee. Because it doesn't mean shit. Until a criminal court tries and convicts him and he is sentenced, then I will tell you how I feel about him sexually assaulting or raping E. Jean Carroll. But as of now, he has not been criminally convicted of anything. So therefore, he is not guilty of those things. He is held liable to pay her money because he can't shut his fucking mouth.
That's true.
I have a question. Well, not me, somebody.
Go
when
ahead.
the J6 people are released, can they file suit against the government?
Sure. Sure they can. They have a right to petition their government. They also have a right to sue their government. They haven't signed anything that won't allow. Now, if they're in the military, no, they're screwed.
Right.
But J6, they have every right to sue the government. Yes.
It's funny you say that, and we're talking about the legal ramifications of everything that Trump is going through, and we're talking about January 6th and people that could potentially do jail time. I went ahead and looked up the numbers because I was really curious about this. Harvard TH has statistics that show roughly how many people are in jail who are later found to be innocent, exonerated completely. And conservative estimates put that number at about 22,000 people per year. Now, there's another statistic that's out there from another law firm, the Baldani Law Group, that says that that's actually a much lower number, but it's still plus 1,000 people every year that are imprisoned having done nothing wrong. Is Donald Trump going to be one of them? No,
now,
probably not.
Here's the interesting thing that you make a point of quickly is when you brought up the J6ers. The J6ers should not sue for their convictions. Their convictions were proven in the court of law to be guilty, and it has nothing to do with the penalties that were applied. What they should do is suit the government for cruel and unusual punishment. And the only way they can do that is they have to challenge the classification of being domestic terrorists. And every single one of those people do not meet the qualifications of domestic terrorism. And because of that, they can sue that. And once they do that, they can go ahead and sue the United States government for cruel and unusual punishment based upon the elongated sentences that were applied to them. The U.S. government is fucked. When the J6ers get out, there is going to be a huge lawsuit against them suspending habeas corpus, them suspending the 4th and 5th Amendment to these people, and the way that they treated them because they applied the domestic terrorism laws against them that were within the Patriot Act, which gives the government the right to suspend the due process and habeas corpus based upon treating them as a terrorist. That's what they should file suit against, and they'll win. Because here's a perfect example. Someone just tried to assassinate the president of the United States with a high-powered weapon. There is a letter of intent to do so. We're going to talk about that tonight. There's also a bounty that they put on Trump's head. That person has not been classified as a domestic terrorist. During his questioning, they should have immediately classified him as a domestic terrorist, and then they could have suspended his rights as a U.S. citizen. They didn't do that. but they did it for J6ers. Give me a fucking break. Give me a break. Right there, they got a case. You had Hillary Clinton, who gave away classified information, took a compartmentalized server, stole government secrets, and was literally hacked by multiple countries who stole top secret information from her and redistributed en masse based upon her horrible choices, then destroyed 33,000 emails and destroyed with a hammer her BlackBerries and evidence when she had a cease and desist to collect all evidence and to turn it over, and broke a court order with obstruction of justice. And she got off scot-free and wasn't considered a domestic terrorist. If those two things are true, and I'm fine with that, you can say that. You can say that this killer's not a domestic terrorist. You can say Hillary Clinton. You can say it, but then you don't get to charge J6ers with it. Just saying.
I am not good with that at all. That there is so much dirt on that, and they've thrown people, good people, in jail for a very long time on less evidence.
Yeah, dude, they threw that kid for the nuke sub who rolled some snaps and then threw away the evidence. Oh yeah, then Trump had to pardon him, and they're like, "Oh well, he's pardoning criminals." All right, I got some funny stuff to show you. This is from @TheUnitedSpot. I don't know if you guys follow these guys, but I always try to give credit when we show funny things on the show. Speaking of Hillary Clinton, little P Diddy love. This is @UnitedSpot. Go follow them if you like this. Here it is.
Hello.
Sorry. Now here it is.
Diddy? Oh, fudge. Only I didn't say fudge. I said Hey, ain't that Jeffrey's old cell? You know? I think it is. Well, would you look at that? The cameras are still broken. What y'all doing here? Y'all come to get your freak on? Hell yeah, I want to get my freak on. Bill! I mean, no, I don't want to get my freak on. We just came by to see how you're doing. I'm in an all-male prison. I ain't never been better. Do you need anything? Baby oil. Lots of baby oil. You need any cigars? Nah, I got an everlasting gobstopper in my pocket. Have you been dropping the soap? Yeah, like 4 times a day. Have you been sagging your pants? I just wear my boxes backwards. It's easier. Have you been getting enough protein? I'm actually getting more protein in here than I did out there. Oh, good. Oh, what's that smell? It smells like burnt hair and warm poop. Yeah, I'm out of baby oil. Already? All right. I'll get you some more baby oil. Oh, yeah, I'm gonna need a whole truckload of baby oil and more posters adjusted. Do you need anything else? Yeah, a pen and lots of paper so I can start dropping names. I got a long list. You don't look so good. Say what? Yeah, you don't look so good, Diddy. Are you all right? Yeah, I'm good. Are you sure? Yeah, I'm good. You want me to write the note for you? What note? Your goodbye note. Duh. Oh, hell no. You ain't gonna Clinton me. Diddy, don't do it. Do what? Oh, no, Bill. He stopped breathing! I'm breathing just fine. I wish there was something we could do. I'd call for help, but the guards are still sleeping. Hey, LeBron. Caw-caw, caw-caw. Yeah, it's disrespectful to wake up a prison guard. Hey, Oprah. Caw-caw, caw-caw. Oh, no. He's gone, Bill. Obama. Caw-caw, caw-caw. Farewell, old friend. Say hi to Jeffrey for me.
That is brutal. I love it.
So, yeah, but unfortunately,
lots of baby oil and more pictures of Justin. Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah, but I mean, anyone who thinks, listen, the shoe's going to drop on this, man. This thing is extensive, and do you really think that Diddy is not going to roll over on anybody? Do people understand how long at prison that he's looking to face with sex trafficking, to the implications of blackmail and extortion, drug use, distribution, illegal distribution of drugs. And the real thing that's going to get him is the international crimes that he's responsible for. Do people really think that he's not going to roll over? And you got to ask yourself the question, with Epstein, where's his client list and why haven't we seen it? Why aren't they just literally releasing and turning this stuff over? This is going to lead into the next conversation with the assassin's note. But you got to ask yourself the question, do you expect anything to come from this? They did arrest him. They did it very publicly. They did it very noisily. And the government usually doesn't do that unless they're going to make cases and bring down the hammer. Livia, what do you think? And then Leroy, what do you think?
Gosh, I wanted to. I mean, he told me yesterday that several celebrities are deleting thousands upon thousands of tweets.
I want to correct this. Usher has clarified, and of course, I absolutely believe him. Wink, wink. I'm going to show you Usher's response to him deleting his emails. Yeah, here it is. Usher has, and this is no joke. This is 100% true. I swear to God, this is on Usher's account. Usher says, account got hacked, and damn, y'all ran with it. See you tonight at Intuit Dome. Your account got, so let me get this straight. They hacked your account, they deleted all your emails, and then they gave you access back and left the deletes? Okay, sure.
Right.
Yeah, that's what happened. Right. And then what's interesting is Pink, she blocked her account back in February of 2024, and that's absolutely true. She had some stalkers, and people were saying some shit, and some of the rumblings were coming out about Bieber and Diddy, and she went and locked her account down. The thing is, though, if you go and look at it, I've got it right here, man, because I bring the receipts. If you take a look at her account, it says Pink, 4.3 thousand posts, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. Well, it was
and
8,
the fact that you need to charge your phone.
Yeah, it was 8,000 something the days before. So she basically had her account locked since February, but what she did is she went back into her account and deleted old tweets. So the news media and everyone's like, no, she didn't. She locked it in 2024 because of stalking. Yeah, she did do that. And then they're like, well, wait a second. If she deletes those tweets, it still shows that she has 4.3 thousand posts. No, it doesn't. Go read the Twitter terms and conditions. And just to verify, I deleted one of my old posts and my post count went down. If she truly did delete 4,300 posts on that day, she would have 0 tweets. That's the way this works. It's under Twitter's terms and conditions. So good luck, Pink. Good luck, Usher. Good luck, Jay-Z. I have a feeling he's going to be on there. And good. Let them all burn. I'm sick of this shit. These people have been getting away with this stuff for years, and honestly, good. That's it.
My opinion of this is that as public as this was, that there's a very high probability, because Hollywood is a much bigger machine than I think anybody realizes, that the initial headlines of him getting indicted, imprisoned, will reign heavy. The moment he starts implicating others, none of that will see airtime. That's just how I feel. I hope I'm wrong. Please, for the love of God, I hope I'm wrong. But my sneaking suspicion is that nobody will carry those stories after the fact if he implicates others.
Yeah, I think it depends on the severity of the crimes. Let me tell you why. I'm just going to show you one video. Olivia, be prepared. This is Good Morning America. And if you think they're not all in on it, enjoy this. Good Morning America on ABC. I got to mute it. I'm sorry. I don't want to get a ding.
She looks like she's 8.
He.
Excuse me?
He. Why? That's abuse. That's child abuse.
It's Good Morning America. Oh, just wait.
All right. I said 8. Maybe I meant 6.
I love that you love root beer, caffeine free. I can get on board with that.
My mom doesn't like me drinking caffeine.
Does it make you hyper? Yeah, me too. They don't like when I drink caffeine either. But Jasmine, you're one of the youngest and first drag queen/kids. And I've heard you've gotten messages from young adults who look up to you for being who you are.
Matt Walsh is ready to shit himself right now.
Some of the notes I've gotten are like that.
Yeah. They're not coming after kids though. Hey, everyone can relax. This is about people being themselves. This isn't about kids, right? There's no, hey, that's not a kid. You just cover your eyes. That person identifies as a drag adult. You need to stop being so freaking homophobic and transphobic, Leroy. Seriously, that's a trans adult. That person identifies as an adult trans person. Go ahead.
The more they try to normalize this kind of thing, the more they pop it on mainstream TV media. It's an attempt to normalize it within society so that at some point it's just not so shocking. Same thing happened a few years ago. I think it was Netflix.
Sorry.
No, you're good. When they had the girls they were like 8 and 9, but they were doing you know which one I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of the show.
It was
but again,
like Dance Moms or something like that.
It was similar to that, but again, it's just one of those attempts to normalize something that 30 years ago you would have seen that and go, "Whoa, this is way over the line." And the more they keep pushing that line, the more they put this kind of thing in your face, at some point you just accept it.
And by the way, Facebook, fuck you for throttling us the moment I started talking about trans people. You guys, this is not inclusivity. This is child abuse. And as you guys and covering up child abusers and the hundreds of thousands of children that were sex trafficked on your fucking channel, you have some gall to go ahead and throttle me, who's telling the truth, versus you guys who allowed sex trafficking to take place. And your thought was to stand up and apologize to America, Zuckerberg. Go fuck yourself. Welcome to the truth. Does Zuckerberg remember this? Does everyone here remember this? No?
I remember it.
Just to make sure. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Let's see. Do you want
this?
You want to
Why
stand
is
up?
it that you can claim you hide behind a liability shield? You can't be held accountable. Shouldn't you be held accountable personally? Will you take personal responsibility?
Senator, I think I've already answered this. I mean, these.
Well, try us again.
issues.
Will you take personal responsibility?
Find harmful
to make
content,
money,
take it off the services,
to make money,
and to build tools that empower parents.
So you didn't take any action. You didn't take any action. You didn't fire anybody. You haven't compensated a single victim. Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. There's families of victims here today. Have you apologized to the victims? Would you like to do so now? Well, they're here. You're on national television. Would you like now to apologize to the victims who have been harmed by your product? Show them the pictures. Would you like to apologize for what you've done to these good people?
I'm sorry for everything that
Fuck you, Zuck. Yeah, you can censor my show, and you can censor tens of thousands of conservative voices around the United States. But I'll tell you what, I'll put my show and the accuracy and the integrity of my show against anyone else. And you have shows that make you millions of dollars in advertising that sit up here and lie to conservatives, lie to liberals, and you endorse them because they're too big to fucking fail and it will hurt your advertising dollars. But you take advantage of guys like me and you throttle us. I'll put my record against anybody. Any conservative or any liberal, the consistency, the truth on this platform and how we cover things and take responsibility and are very careful with what we say, and you throttle us because we don't give you those dollars. We don't give you the tens and hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. We know how much guys like Benny Johnson are paying you in advertising. I know what Shapiro is paying you because it's all under the Freedom of Information Act, and I was a marketer, and we spend $1.2 million with you. And when I was doing that with Valor, you loved my channel. You loved everything about us because we were giving you $1.2 million a fucking year in advertising. And the moment that I left that company, you banned my advertising account and you started throttling me and you demonetized us. So Zuckerberg, you go ahead and sex traffic kids. I'll stay on the moral high ground of being right when you're fucking wrong. God, I hate that fucking douche. Wow. Sorry. Okay. Better now. Sorry, Leroy. Is my language offensive? Here's a Greta Thunberg video for you to enjoy. This will make you happy. And I want you to look at her reading her phone in her chant. No. Watch her reading her phone. You know what's funny? Is that an EV Volkswagen truck? I'm just wondering. Is that EV? I don't know. We'll find out. Here we go.
Show me what the people looks like. Show me what power looks like. Show me what democracy looks like. Show me what democracy looks like. Show me what the people looks like.
check those words.
How dare you?
Olivia with a how dare you. Do it again. Do it again.
How dare you?
Oh my God. Seriously, man. I mean, yeah, that doesn't look like an EV truck. And second is like, I thought the world was supposed to end by now. Weren't we all supposed to be dead? Didn't
2023 is what she said?
Yeah, 2023, we were supposed to be dead. Why is she still alive?
That one might have been AOC. I think it was AOC who said
No,
we
it was
only
Greta.
had, like,
it
7
was
years.
Greta. It was Greta.
Was it?
Yeah. Yeah, it was Greta. Yeah, she said it in 2016. So she said it to the UN. She said it to everybody who would listen. And now she's reading from a phone with fives of people watching. Fives of people are just like incensed about, dude, enough of climate change. Seriously.
It's funny.
Go ahead.
She's throwing this speech out there about, she's very anti-capitalistic, right? One people, one fight, that's straight out of a communist playbook. She was all sorts of against any sort of energy movement, right? She wants everything to be this green movement. And the whole time she's doing, it's like the guys who go to Starbucks saying they hate capitalism and they type it out on their Apple iPads right then and there. And she's holding the damn smartphone in her hand with lithium that was literally dug out of the ground by 8-year-olds in Africa.
Yeah, which I'm sure
Greta.
some Kenyans were freaking heads that were decapitated and their children were sacrificed to Cthulhu for that phone. That's okay, because as we were talking about sex trafficking and talking about this, here's some more weird shit from Joe Biden. I tell you, tonight's show, we're jam-packed. I had a busy weekend. Listen to this. Some people said that the audio is really loud on the videos. I've tried to fix it. I'm sorry. I'll do what I can to take it down, but sometimes that's just the way. Just listen. I don't know. Let's find
an Adam's apple.
I thought when I got to be president, I'd get to do things that I want to do, but my staff tells me what I can't do. But I'm going to do it anyway. All the young women, the young kids out there that are out there, come on up and do this for me. Stand behind me when we do this. Come on.
Better stand behind him than in front of him, that's for sure.
Can we take a second to listen to that again?
I couldn't hear it. It was too quiet. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear.
All right, here we go.
I thought when I got to be president, I'd get to do things that I want to do, but my staff tells me what I can't do. But I'm going to do it anyway. All the young women, the young kids out there that are out there, come on up and do this for me. Stand behind me when we do this. Come on.
Okay, let's break this down.
That's creepy.
My staff says that I'm not supposed to do this, but I'm going to do it anyway. Let's invite all the young women up on the stage. So what you're saying is your staff has advised you not to invite young little girls on the stage. Why? Because you sniff them, you grope them.
He's going to pull a Cosby. Yeah.
You touch them. And now you just openly admitted that you should not be near children. Does this guy have like a kindergarten freaking restraint rule with his mirrored sunglasses? Because he does wear mirrored sunglasses. And if anyone thinks that that's just a coinky dink, I guarantee outside of his Corvette, he's got a van, a windowless van. I'm almost positive. Tell me I heard that wrong. That his staff says you cannot have young women up on the stage with you.
No,
Liv?
No, that man in another life definitely served ether out of an ice cream truck. Absolutely.
I wouldn't let Hayden go up and meet him. Sorry, not a chance. Or Ethan, for that matter.
Dude, he just openly admitted that his staff has kept him away from kids. Why isn't this everywhere? And Jill Biden running a cabinet meeting? Did you guys see this?
Yeah, I sure did.
Jill Biden.
Now we know who's been running the country for the last 3.5 years.
It rubs some lotion on the skin or it gets the hose again.
God, he's raw. He's so creepy.
Dude.
I don't think I've got any Silence of the Lambs.
No, that's okay, because wait till you see this. The border czar has spoken, folks. Remember, she wants to build a wall. and she wants to protect our border. She wants to stop the fentanyl overflow coming in. You know, Kamala Harris, the new borders are. Folks, by the way, I haven't told you in a while. It's 8:30. $2,636. We're now about $1,100 away from our goal for the month. We have 7 days. We are. How much did we make from Facebook this month, Liv?
$121.68.
8,500 on average. 15,000 the highest months. Went down to $121. They have completely stopped all advertising on our videos. They will not let us get stars. They have throttled and said that our long form video is not going to be shown to people anymore. We have to do 30-second reels. I got to get the messaging out to you in 30 seconds.
And they won't monetize our reels, but won't give us a reason as to why they won't monetize them.
That's correct. They have completely undercut us. So 5 months ago, we relied on the viewers and we ate some humble pie. We didn't want to do it. We didn't want to be beggars, and we're not begging. We're asking. If you like the show, it's your first time watching, you're like, wow, these guys aren't that bad. We like them. Matt cusses a little bit too much. He talks a little bit too much. Let's give him some money to shut him up. That's the best way to do it. You can do that on linktapgo.com/thedumshow. And if you can't afford it, that's fine. We understand. Just at least like the show, share it, get it out there. Come on back. And then maybe down the road you can. And if you want something for your money, we also have thedumshow.com where you can get cool shirts. You can get coffee. And listen, there's coffee and then there's this. This stuff is liquid gold. You put this in a French press, you're not going to sleep for a day. This is home brewed
all brews
in Wisconsin by a veteran, war combat veteran, who goes around to different countries and buys this stuff by the boatload. And then he home brews it for you. Fire roasted himself, never burnt. Oils are ridiculous. You open it up, the entire house is going to smell like this. You put 4 cups in this thing, you're going to get 8 cups. You put 4 scoops, you get 8 cups. It is that good. People say if they have 1 cup a day, it lasts them a month. If they have anywhere from 3 to 5 cups, it can give them up 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks. It is amazing stuff. Give it a shot. I'm telling you, you'll love it. Go over to thedumshow.com. All right. Thanks for your donations. Now, Kamala Harris, here you go. The borders are. Enjoy this. This was on tape. I'm not kidding. I can't make this stuff up. Listen to the chant.
With education, down with deportation. With education, down with deportation. With education, down with deportation. With education.
Up with education, down with deportation.
Down with deportation. With education, down with deportation. With education, down with deportation.
Down with career inflation. That's Kamala's life story. Going down for career inflation. Down for career inflation.
With education, down with deportation.
She has to keep looking at them because she keeps forgetting. She keeps wanting to go, unburdened by what has been. Unburdened by what has been.
With education, down with
There's her communist daughter.
deportation. With education, down with deportation. With education, down with deportation. With education, down with deportation.
Lays behind her.
There's another minute. Should we continue this? This is the woman who's going to go ahead and secure our border. This is the number one issue outside of the economy. And this is the woman you're going to stop. This is the one who created the problem with the economy. And you're going to rely on her to stop it? And now she's seeing protest chants about deportation? Thank you, Bobby.
Thank you, Bobby.
$31.40 for the kitty. We appreciate you. Very, very close to $1,000 flat, folks. We appreciate it. Keep it up. Thank you for your help. What do you think about this, Leroy?
I think about the messaging and how it's shifted over the last 4 or 5 administrations. It wasn't that long, and it seems like it's always during an election cycle too. Somebody who ran for president but never quite made it in during the campaigning year once said, I voted numerous times when I was a senator to spend money to build a barrier to prevent illegal immigrants from coming in. And I do think you have to control your borders. That was at a campaign stop. This is where you're going to find out who it was. That was on November the 9th, 2015. Who would that have been?
Gene Fitzpatrick? Was it Geraldine Ferraro? I'll third guess. Was that
Liz Cheney?
Was that Liz Cheney? Was that Hillary Rodham Clinton?
That was Hillary Rodham Clinton.
Wow.
Back in 2006, there was somebody who once said, "Folks, I voted for a fence. Some of you won't like it, but I voted for 700 miles of fence." That was at the South Carolina Rotary Club in November of 2006.
Who is Joe Biden?
Right. So it's always during an
Was that
election
right?
year.
Was I right?
Yes.
Oh,
spot
okay.
on. Spot. I knew you knew that.
Yeah, you got Obama's quote in there too. And what about
I
Nadler?
do.
What about Schumer? I got his too. There's 147 of them over a 7-year period of time with proposed pieces of legislation calling for a border wall, calling for mass deportation. Why? Because they voted for Republican. That's why.
And now, and that's during the election cycle. Now they've gone full on left where they're like, let's just leave the borders open. The borders are, it's kind of a made up title. We said that she had it. She really didn't have it. She didn't even really visit it. I haven't been to Europe either.
Right. Actually, you have, and you incentivize Putin to frickin' invade Ukraine. You were so bad, and Poland is looking at you like, this chick just shut up. I just want to give her a Polish kielbasa and shut up. It takes more than 12 inches to shut her up. That gets her started. I don't like the woman. I got another video to show you. Well, it's not a video. This is something Olivia needs to see. And I'm going to walk you guys through some questions and answers.
Hi.
No tongue? What the fuck? All right. I want everyone to participate. Leroy, you too.
Up with education. Down with deportation.
Up with education. Down with high inflation? No. I don't think so. I have a rule. Do I show school shooters on this show?
No.
Nope.
No, I don't. And I have a real hard time showing this letter. But since it's literally been seen by 76 million people, and it's been on the national news, and it's been on every social media site, and it's going to be in every paper tomorrow, I'm just going to go ahead and show it to you. But I have some questions about operational security, and I'm going to alternate between Olivia and Leroy. Would you guys mind helping me out with this?
Yes.
It wasn't rhetorical, Leroy.
Don't mind at all.
Thank you. Thank you. Operational security. If you have a body detail, Leroy, can you explain what a body detail is in OPSEC?
Well, OPSEC it's one of those terms that's used throughout all of the military, and it's something that's really kind of been brought to put an emphasis on social media, so that if your ship is doing a movement, you're not going to say when it's happening, where it's happening, things like that. You're not going to publicize a lot of those details that would risk people's lives. And that's for Army, Air Force. They all do the same thing. You're not supposed to reveal the force at a particular location, or where they're moving, or when they're moving. What was the other thing?
Is that Canada?
I think so.
Okay. Thank you very much, my Canadian person, you.
Canada.
McLeod.
Thank you, Mel.
McLovin.
Thank you, Mel. Operational security is that there is a difference between OPSEC and physical security. If we were to use physical security, what would that be?
So physical security is things like your border wall, your fences, guards. That's when they start bringing into consideration things like security rings, so that if you're going to have dual fence lines, or in some cases even 3 fence lines, depending on what it is you're trying to protect, with obviously the most sensitive item at the center of that ring. You're going to double up on your guards, things like that.
So PSD, or personal security detail, would be what then?
Well, that'd be all of the security forces. That'd be the military, police, security, the shore patrol. That'd be the armed people who are checking IDs at gates. They're 100%, or they should be armed. Things like that.
Out of all of those, Secret Service would fall under what, if not multiple?
That would fall under multiple, because there's not only vet all of the scenes, right? They're going to. I am to understand they even weld manhole covers in place when they several days ahead of time,
Which would be physical security, right?
Yeah, when they know that there's going to be a campaign stop or something along those lines.
So when we say operational security, in the essence of the Secret Service, it's a multifaceted operation, which covers with human intelligence, counterintelligence, physical security, HVT security, body detail, counter sniper units. It has triage, has triage and medical. They do a ton, also disinformation. There are tons of facets to the operational security mechanisms of Secret Service. Okay. However, just to keep it simple, I'm going to ask two questions here. Can you please tell me that if you are to protect an HVT, high value target, and in this case, this wouldn't be an offensive, but more defensive capability. So you're not trying to take out an HVT, you're trying to defend an HVT. What are the two things that you should protect first and foremost above all else? Leroy, can you give me one?
Their mode of transportation, their transportation route, right? So their car and the road for which that car is traveling.
That would be considered what type of detail or type of security? Physical. Great. Olivia, can you give me another one?
Their schedule, where they're going to be, at what time, what they're doing, stuff like that.
Okay. Would that be physical as well?
No?
Yeah, it's physical.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's still a form of intelligence and it's data, but it's still for physical purposes, because if they know where they're at, they know where to hit them. So it's still a physical security aspect. Okay, great. So now that we've done that, what would the second type of thing that the Secret Service or that the Secret Service would truly want to stem the flow of?
You're talking about the mitigation of.
Yep.
Okay.
So this is delicate, but not in the sense of what it reveals, but you've got to kind of thread the needle here, Leroy. I hope you're on with me what I'm talking about. Go ahead.
I'm trying to pick up what you're putting down, brother.
Go ahead.
A lot of times Secret Service will vet, when in the process of vetting certain locations, they will also, in some cases, vet the people that are going into those areas as well.
Attaboy. Human intelligence, human security, right? You want to understand what the overall mentality of where you're going. So like if you're going into Philadelphia, you treat that much differently than going into the middle of Kentucky. It's just completely two different types of security.
Right.
So you want to help control the narrative. And one of the things that Secret Service does is to vet threats, to vet the polls, to ensure that, thank you so much, Glenn.
Thank you, Glenn.
To address the overall narrative being released. So therefore, if some senator is saying something that's ultimately making things more volatile and more dangerous for their overall body detail, they are going to address those type of things in order to quash or quell the overall sentiment that's being broadcasted on a national level to cease. They're going to go into individual businesses. They're going to go and look at active shooters, people who've made threats. They're going to look at people the 3,300 threats that they get every single month against the President of the United States and cross-reference that to travel plans and everything else. So there is a overall human intelligence aspect that is probably the second biggest job of Secret Service and the forward team, who usually goes out and will do this 3 weeks, 3 months ahead of time, depending upon the size of the event. Does that all make sense to everybody?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, great. Now, who ultimately is in charge of that? Who is the Papa organization that is in charge of all of that? Thank you, John Francis.
Thank you, John.
Literally.
Thank Francis. Would that be the Secret Service man?
The head pop. The head Papa. Not the organization. The head of of all of those, whether it be Department of Homeland, whether it be Secret Service,
Department
whether
of
it be FBI, higher than that.
Oh, FBI. Yeah. Sorry.
Higher than that.
Department of Defense?
Close. You got 2 letters out of 3. How about a J?
DOJ.
DOJ.
What is that? What is that?
Department of Justice.
Department of Justice. So the Department of Justice oversees all of those units. None of them are autonomous. It's all DOJ. Okay, now, here we go.
Here we go.
Now, you have a letter from an assassin. There's no such thing as an attempted assassination, okay? He is an assassin, and his intent was to kill President Trump. And by all intents and purpose, if everything would have went off without a hitch, Donald Trump would be dead by his hands. Everyone fair with that? Okay, so it's an attempted murder. It's an attempted assassination, of course, but he's still an assassin. So the assassin writes a letter. Do you believe, either of you, that if physical security and informational security were in jeopardy from this letter, that anyone in the DOJ or any of the alphabet agencies would have an obligation to not release that information because it puts in jeopardy and detriment one, if not both, of your key defined missions, protecting an asset? Would you ensure that you do not release that information based on your judgment? Your professional security, your professional understanding of operational security, Leroy and Olivia, your gut feeling from living with me and having military and law enforcement in our family, would it be counterintuitive?
I would not release that letter.
Okay.
No.
Leroy?
Nope.
Okay.
No, you do not release that, and you hold that one tight because you're going to need it, during the trial.
Or you redact it. Like they did the trans shooter letter that took them 1.5 years to release, but they said it was too dangerous for us to see. It would put other people at risk. This is the president of the United fucking States. And you just put out a bounty on his head. Let me rephrase that. No, let me reinstate what I just said and say it again. Let me restate, not reinstate. Let me restate what I just said. The Department of Justice just put a bounty out on Donald Trump's head, and here it is. Oh, this chafes my chaff.
Shapes your chaff.
Dear world, this was an assassination attempt. Oh, I guess we can just say that it was a guy walking around with open carry, like the Democrats are saying. Oh, he was just open carry. What's the big deal? This was an assassination attempt on Donald Trump, but I am so sorry I failed you. I tried my best and gave it all the gumption I could muster. It is up to you now to finish the job, and I will offer $150,000 to whomever can complete the job. Everyone across the globe, from the youngest to the oldest, know that Trump is unfit to be anything, much less a U.S. president. U.S. presidents must, at bare minimum, embody the moral fabric, oh God, he is a liberal, that is America, and be kind, caring, and selfless, and always stand for humanity. Trump fails to understand any of. Now, as a former intelligence specialist and current intelligence specialist for the U.S. government and the United States Navy, Leroy, what are the things you see from this? Oh, you've said that 1 million times, dude. Why can't you say that? I'm kidding. You shouldn't, because you've said it 1.5 million times, bro. You got to follow your rules here with me. I feel horrible. Based on all of this, please tell me what you see in this document.
Well, so there's, first of all, I would question the nature of the document itself to begin with.
But let's do the physical.
I know.
Let's do the physical.
Right.
What do you see here immediately?
Right out of the gate, the thing that jumps out at me is that number, $150,000. I will offer $150,000. That is a huge thing that you would never, ever, ever put out. Ever.
Okay. What do you notice just about the letter itself? Is there anything that stands out to you?
Yeah, the whole thing. Dear world, the guy ran from the scene with the sole intent of getting away. Why would he pen a letter admitting to it if his intent was to get away in the beginning? He was stationed hundreds of yards off of the I think it was the sixth hole.
Yeah.
He didn't want to get caught. He was planning to not get caught. So why would he pen a letter before admitting to it? Something's the off. This does not pass a smell test to me.
No, it doesn't, because this is what we call an orgy of evidence. Let me also show you, why did you not release the second page? Because you can see in the top right-hand corner, there is a number 1.
Yeah.
And you can see that right here. And also, if you look, there is a silhouette page. But more importantly, if you look down here where the light changes, you can see secondary writing. So there's more than 1 page. There's 4 pages because he wrote on the back. So what stands out to me is that he wrote on the back. So now you've got 4 pages. Why are we only seeing the fourth page? Or the first page? Where's second, third, and fourth page? Because if he wrote front to back, at least there's 3 pages, because he wrote 1 there, 2, and then there's the third page. So there's at least 3 pages, if not 4. Where's the rest? And why this particular page? They also had 6 cell phones on the guy, and one of the cell phones actually routes his movement from Florida, Palm Beach, driving to Mexico. This guy had all intentions of hitting Trump and fleeing to Mexico. But why would he have various letters? And why would this letter remain in somebody's hands for 3 weeks? And why didn't that person open it up?
Maybe they were given strict instructions not to open this up until
now you have
a specific date.
Now you have a co-conspirator.
It's almost insulting, this letter, really.
Yes,
if you think about it.
It really is.
Because the very first line reads, "This was an assassination attempt on Donald Trump." Like, you actually had to say who the hell it was against anyway, for one.
Yeah.
But
It's
2,
bullshit.
it's like the American population has such a low attention span that you actually have to put that in the first line of the letter. This was an assassination attempt. Like, no, this is made up. I am calling this entire letter to be suspect.
Immediate, and we're not conspiracy theorists, but everything to me is you have a person admitting they did something, but the cause for the assassination is completely unhinged to what an assassin and why they would kill someone. He basically is saying Trump isn't kind and caring, so I'm going to murder him.
Right.
Does that really fucking add up to anybody? Where is the Ukraine? The first thing should be Donald Trump is a traitor to the United States of America. He is a Vladimir Putin puppet. He does not support Ukraine. I am an avid proponent that freedom and democracy lives and dies in Ukraine. Therefore, Donald Trump has to die as an existential threat to Ukraine and their freedom. That is a letter that I might believe.
I'm wondering
Was the
if
guy
there was
right-handed?
more.
Based upon these writings, he looks like he's a lefty.
I'm wondering if there was more letters and if they were given specific instructions. Do not open this one if this happens. Open this one if this happens. So he wrote a failure letter, and he wrote he got away letter, and it got done.
Yeah, because you can't offer 150,000 if you're dead, because the government's going to seize it. This doesn't make any sense. This guy was a lot of things, but this guy, okay, he has a public defender, but he's got $150,000 to go ahead and give to somebody. This guy has flights all over Ukraine. He's got multiple countries out of the U.S. that he flies to. He flies all over the country. He has a bungalow in Hawaii worth $850,000, but this guy can't afford an attorney. He hasn't called on anyone
in Hawaii. Then your award isn't going to be 150. It's going to be much higher.
It's not that. It's the point of who is bankrolling this guy? Where are his business accounts? You're going to release this letter? Fuck that. I want to see his personal savings and checking. I want to see money tied up overseas. I want to see if this guy's getting money orders. I want to know how he paid for his property. I want up this guy's ass with a microscope, and I want
I want charges that exceed, because not only is this guy an assassination attempt, he is trying to hire an assassin for nefarious purposes. And that right there holds a criminal frickin', like it's 25 years in prison just to hire somebody to kill another person. So not only are you admitting to premeditated attempted murder, but you also are trying to hire another assassin to murder Donald Trump. This doesn't make any sense. This is, I told you guys beforehand, this is a fucking orgy of evidence. This is too clean. It is too much. Something is wrong here.
Back in the early 2000s, it might have even been late in the 90s, there was a movie with Jeff Bridges and Jeff. Yeah, it was Bridges. No, it was Jeff Bridges and the guy that plays
Tommy Lee Jones.
Tim Robbins. And in the movie, Jeff Daniels plays a college professor whose specialist is terrorism. And there's a line in the movie, God, it'll bother me to not know the name of the movie, but the entire movie is based on this premise that he knows everything there is about terrorism and how conspiracy theorists work. And one of the key lines that's in the movie is that it's always easier for the public to accept a conspiracy if there's one person to blame. If there is if the needle always points back to one person or one group, then when that person is gone, it's a much easier pill to swallow, as if to say, oh, well, that was the problem. Now it's gone. What's the name of that movie? It's going to bother me.
I don't know.
I'm going to find it right now. We watched it.
The first thing I thought of was Blown Away, but that's not Jeff Bridges, and that was Tommy Lee Jones. What is it, honey?
I'm looking it up right now.
Because with Jeff Daniels, it
was Jeff Bridges.
I know, Jeff, but he said Jeff Daniels. But he said Jeff Daniels. Okay, so it was Jeff Bridges.
Terrorist movie. Hold on.
Because I remember Blown Away. That was with the NRA and Tommy Lee Jones and
Arlington Road.
Oh, okay. That was
1999.
good. That was a good movie. That was a great movie. It's Arlington Road. That's correct. So people, are like, well, what does this mean? First of all, the DOJ, what in the flying fuck are you thinking? Why are you encouraging? Do you understand that there's stupid people out there who believe that they're going to get $150,000 if they kill Trump, and that's enough to kill Trump? What is wrong with you? You won't release a trans shooter. You won't release that information and their manifesto for a year and a half. But you're going to go ahead and release an open letter calling for the assassination of Trump and a bounty on his head. Does this
and then speak about caring and kindness and however the world needs to be a much kinder place, and the only way we're going to get there is through
by murdering.
Apparently,
it doesn't make sense. I mean, you guys have to understand is that assassins, they don't have lofty purposes except for money. Most assassins. This guy is an activist. Like a fanatic, but it doesn't line up with a fanatic. This lines up with a person who makes a post on Facebook that Donald Trump isn't nice and he needs to pay. This is a person who doesn't want to elect Donald Trump because they have mean tweets. This guy has no substance to his outrage. It doesn't make any sense. No. His smile when he was arrested, all of it, it like something is off. There is an article that I wrote today, and I want you to take a look about it. It talks about the assassin's letter, and I kind of break it down. I break it down where it came from, what it says, what it means for the future, the weapon selection, everything else. Got some photos on there that can walk you through it. But to me, something's rotten in Denmark. It all seems a little too clean. To me, this is what I'll say. This is very similar to what happened with Oswald. Now, please, I am not a conspiracy theorist.
in any way, shape, or form. And I am not a conspiracy theorist when it comes to the John F. Kennedy assassination. I do absolutely believe that Lee Harvey Oswald was involved in the assassination of John F. Kennedy 100%. And I do believe that Lee Harvey Oswald absolutely killed Officer Tippit. I absolutely do believe that Lee Harvey Oswald was in the Texas Book Depository that day. I absolutely believe that he was involved with Guy Bannister and Clay Shaw and worked for the CIA. I also believe that 120%. But do I believe is that he committed the fatal shots to kill Kennedy? That's questionable. Do I believe he could do the shooting? No. Do I believe there were multiple shooters in that scenario? Yes. Do I believe a cover story was put out on Lee Harvey Oswald? Yeah. Because there's a few things that you don't know about Lee Harvey Oswald, and there's a few things that you don't know from an international standpoint. That Europe was doing reports 31 minutes after the shooting. Papers were releasing photographs of Lee Harvey Oswald as a suspect. Things were put out on the news agencies over Europe. There's a lot here, folks, that Americans don't understand because they've looked at the assassination from a national standpoint, but not from an international standpoint. And if you talk to witnesses and news agencies from across the world, there were teletypes and information coming out about Lee Harvey Oswald when they were still trying to find Lee Harvey Oswald. It's not a conspiracy theory. You can look at AP, you can look at teletypes, you can look at flash traffic from those days. This is all open source and available. But the main thing about Lee Harvey Oswald is why was he in the United States for the shooting anyway? He had sworn off the United States. He has surrendered his citizenship. He had intentions to defect at the U.S. Embassy. He went to Russia to give up state secrets. He told the U.S. Embassy and the Department of Defense what he was going to do. He went to Russia. He divulged information. For 3 months, they had him. Politburo and KGB did a debriefing for multiple weeks on Lee Harvey Oswald. Planted him in a white Russian neighborhood, gave him a union-style job, and went ahead and he met Marina and had a child, and then left Russia. Listen to what I just said. In the Cold War, as an intelligent asset for the KGB, left Russia. And the moment he stepped on U.S. soil, he was not arrested for treason. He wasn't arrested as a Russian asset. He wasn't charged, tried, or convicted. He was given a by your leave immediately to the largest intelligence apparatus in the United States at the time, which was the Louisiana District, and worked between 16 different intelligence agencies, was attached to Guy Bannister's office on the main street of New Orleans, who was an FBI agent, worked in the middle of the ONI, the FBI, the CIA, the Department of Justice, the state prosecutor's office. I can go on and on and on. And if you look at how that was handled, there was an orgy of evidence that it was Lee Harvey Oswald. You can look at the bullet casings that were ejected to the left of the Marlikin Carcano rifle. You can look at the powder burn test on Lee Harvey Oswald that showed that he did not fire a rifle of that magnitude that day. Possibly the powder burn showed a smaller style revolver, which would line up with what happened with the snub-nose 38 that he used on Officer Tippit. You can also look at the response from the Dallas Police Department for a person who just didn't pay for their ticket when there was no description of Lee Harvey Oswald at the time. And when he went in and did not pay for his ticket, even though he had $3.67 for a 50-cent ticket to the movies and didn't pay for it, he decided to go ahead and jump that, was reported, and 30 cops showed up to arrest him. They knew what theater to go to. They knew what aisle to go to. Beat the living shit out of him. So you can go through that. That is 1/10 of the things that should make you go, I don't understand. Mm-hmm. This here has very similar. They're telling us everything and they're showing us nothing.
That is a show and tell gambit that is absolutely standard in counterintelligence, and it's done with government controlled narratives. You tell them everything and you show them nothing. We've seen this from the KGB. I guarantee he's seen this from Mossad. Leroy and I can tell you that disinformation happens all the time with major governments, and it looks just like this. They're telling you everything and they're showing you nothing. This is weird. That's all I'm going to say.
It makes me think that they offered up not only a name but some level of evidence so that the entire thing can be tied to a name. And if they can tie the events of that day to a name, then they can assemble kind of a motive or backstory on the back end in a way to say, hey, look, here is another, whatever that motivation is. And then they'll assign blame from that. Right. So you've got a name, motivation. Now we assign blame, and that blame will always be, because it's the media, aimed towards anybody on the right.
Can I just say what I think? And I'm just going to put it out there. Here it is.
No.
No, seriously, because I'm going to go ahead and say this, and I believe this 120%. He had no intention to kill Trump. 0. This has nothing to do with killing Trump. And that should scare everybody. Because when you hear this drives me crazy. You're being distracted for something bigger. And this is when you say that. This is when you say that. This takes eyes. This is 2 botched attempts to kill Donald Trump. What are the odds? 2 botched attempts. The first attempt should have been successful. This second attempt should have been successful. A Secret Service agent saw a rifle sticking out of a fence line. Has anyone seen an SKS? Does anyone know the profile? It looks like a glorified 20-2.
Somebody has a question.
Yeah, but let me just show the picture of this real quick. Then we can answer the question. There it is. You're telling me that they saw, 7-inch barrel, if that? That
from
went through
300 yards. Right.
From 300 yards away. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Even 100 yards away.
No.
Something is rotten in Denmark. Something just stinks. And when people go, it's a distraction. This is not a distraction. This is a head fake. 2 times. Thank you, Canada people. We love you. 2 times within a period of time that you see. Leroy, can I just ask you a question?
Sure.
That's rhetorical. The first attempt should never have been successful if it wasn't for the absolute ball drop of the lifetime. 5 things in operational security had to fail in order for this to even be successful. We went through this, right?
Yeah.
And what if you're not getting the reaction that you need in order to protect Trump? This is like overcorrection to somehow bring credibility back to the Secret Service? I don't know. I wouldn't go that far. But what if the vulnerabilities aren't being taken care of and somebody in the government understands this? What if there is an apparatus that understands this and puts this guy in place who has no intent to kill Trump, so Trump gets the protection that he needs? Does this not seem like some sort of fucking psyop from Russia? Does this not seem like some sort of fucking totally KGB Politburo style fucking psyop? because that's what it feels like to me. Listen, you know what I did when it came to counterintelligence for Russia. This just has fucking Russia all over it, or other foreign government that is trying to ensure. I don't know, man. It's just
safety.
I don't know. I don't fucking know. It just screams.
No, there's something
foreign.
off with it.
It's weird.
But
It's
if
weird.
the intention is to get more protection for him, then why release the letter?
It just quantifies the intent of the shooter, that they got the shooter. It complete. Yeah, go ahead.
Now there's going to be public pressure and more scrutiny on the very agency that is in charge of the security of former presidents and current presidents.
That's right.
And with that in media circulation, all eyes are going to be pointed towards the Secret Service saying, "Hey, look, we now have this letter. What did you do about it?" Now they know they have to get their shit together.
That's right.
They're going to have to take the threats that much more seriously because all eyes are on them. That's what the media does.
I did not say it was Russia. I said it was a Russian style type of a psyop. This is the stuff that happened with the bioweapon labs. It was this. The bioweapon lab story has been coming out since 2006. This isn't just to Ukraine. They did this with Syria. They did this with Bosnia Herzegovina. The Russians have had this story in one sense or another for multiple countries as a counterintelligence style move and propaganda. I didn't say it was Russia. What I said was it was a Russian style disinformation campaign and psyop to distract people or to realign. This is careful. I want to be very careful because this sounds conspiratorial. This sounds like I'm saying it's a conspiracy theory. What I'm trying to do is say to you that the reasons we were given for Roth and his motivations to kill Trump are complete 100% bullshit based upon the letter that I see.
I think I can say this a little more.
Help me say it right.
Yeah.
Help me say it right.
We're not saying that there is a definitive finger point in a general direction and saying, hey, this person, this agency, this country is to blame. What we're saying is that the headlines that are being thrown out there, out for general public consumption, are of the nature to say, hey, look, we figured it out. This is the problem. End of the story. And what Matt and I are saying is, let's ask more questions because something doesn't look right. Let's
doesn't
keep
pass the sniff
digging
test
and not necessarily go by with what NBC, CBS, what they're saying, because to Matt's point, you're not going to see a quarter-inch barrel from 300 yards out. You're not going to see that. There's something too clean about a letter that was found after the fact when we know he had no intention to get caught in the beginning anyway. Otherwise,
no
he
return fire.
Right.
Why put up ceramic plates if you're going to bug out? He was there for the long haul. He was there designed to put ceramic plates up there to to anticipate fire. Why would he put up ceramic plates? Why would he use an SKS? Why did he not return fire? Why was there no handgun? Why did he run at the first sign of conflict? It's all a little weird.
Yes.
And if you're not getting funding to do your job, guys, okay, let me just put this as plainly as I fucking can. These are intelligence professionals. These are operational. These guys are fucking soft. They are a special forces unit. They have a mission to defend versus offense. They're not SEALs. They're not force recon. These guys, their job is defense. But they are trained by the same apparatus that trains soft guys. They're the same apparatus that trains intel. They're the same apparatus that trains counterintelligence. You've got a group of people who have Department of Homeland Security claiming to be Secret Service. You have people who are trained by literally a 2-hour fucking Zoom call who don't even know how to use their handgun. You've got people who are desperately needing
Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, and Delta teams to have some sort of relief on protecting the president. You have an apparatus which is being circumvented by the people at the top, like Mayorkas and like Department of Homeland Security, by putting Band-Aid style solutions for cancer in place. Do you really believe that it is absolutely 100% out there that this entity that is designed to protect Trump, designed to keep him safe, designed to make sure that he is alive, possibly couldn't do some sort of trumped up event that gives them exactly what they need? Because, folks, they just got approved for what, $221 million? That's a lot of fucking money.
Question.
Hold on. I am just asking. Now, I'm just asking questions. I'm not asking questions because I don't understand. I'm not asking questions because I'm naive and don't really understand. I'm asking questions because $221 million of extra security was just granted to Donald Trump that he was not going to get outside of Butler. And he didn't get outside of Butler. A 100%, in my opinion, quantifiable, verifiable assassination attempt. I don't know about this next one. I'm not saying Donald Trump wasn't in danger. I'm not saying that he wasn't going to be killed. What I'm saying is it's really fucking weird. The letter, the timeline, the guy, the nuance about where Trump stands with Ukraine and Russia, and where this guy stands in Ukraine and Russia, the orgy of evidence that has come out, his social media profiles, and the way that they are cryptic. Did you see his profiles and his posts, dude?
Oh, they're all with the American flag. Yeah.
How perfectly symmetrical every single one of them were. They were all a certain length. They were all a certain amount of words. And when you look at them, they literally line up like some sort of Rubik's. It's crazy, some of the shit that I'm seeing from this stuff. It's just all too clean and it's all too perfect. Liv, what was the question?
The pic they showed of the weapon is the scope taped to the gun.
It looks like it's, yeah, let me look at this. This is really weird. It looked
like it was tape. I did see that.
Yeah, it looks like it's electrical tape. What it looks like, it looks like a side. Yeah, it looks like electrical tape.
It looks
like rubber straps.
Hold on. I'm going to zoom in on that real quick.
Here,
because it does look as if it does look like there's a Picatinny rail on top, and that's what the scope is somehow mounted to. So I'm not sure why the tape, or if those are just plastic straps. I'm not sure.
Well, look at the back end of the scope. It's got some sort of fucking sticker on it or something.
Yeah.
It's just Chotsky shit, dude. We're almost done. I know we're running a little bit behind, but I want to show you this one thing. And when I start asking questions like this, it's weird. There's just something weird. Leroy, tell me I'm whacked. Tell me I'm crazy.
About what?
This. I mean,
You're not. No, there's something definitely off. It does not pass a smell test. There's too many things that are just either contradictory evidence or things that don't add up to begin with.
So
the fact that all of this is such an easy, oh, look, we already got the guy. This is clearly his motivation. He wrote these letters.
And a woman took a picture of his license plate? Come on, Leroy.
Anybody ever see that the first god awful version of Jack Reacher? Right? They framed the guy. They framed the guy, and when they did it, they made sure that all of the evidence was laid out in a very particular fashion. And at the end of the movie, somehow our genius detective finds out that, oh, look, they even pulled the fingerprint off of the quarter that the guy used to park his car at the meter. And you're like, no, that wouldn't have happened. And that was like the tip. This is the same kind of thing. Like, there's too much evidence that is too neatly organized, too perfect.
Look at this. Look at this picture. Look at these tweets. It's like if I'm an analyst. Okay, let's see if Leroy and I are on the same page. I'm an analyst. Who is my next contact? If I'm looking at a social media profile and I see these type of tweets, where is this thing going? Which intelligent apparatus that we have at our disposal are we sending this to on our vessel?
Right. So
who are we sending it to?
if I see that level of tweets, right, that kind of thing is going to go to FBI, then Secret Service.
On our
and they're
vessel,
gonna get
on our vessel, on our vessel, on our ship. We're watching an HVT. We're watching a targeted guy. We're running intel. Who are we sending this to on our ship? If we see this, or another name for that within our rank and rate in the United States Navy. I'm sending. Yeah, I'm sending it to CTs. I'm sending it to crypto. You're goddamn right. I'm sending it to crypto. Because I'm looking at that. I'm like, this is.
They're going to trace that back.
Yeah, something's formulaic here. This looks way too clean. It's way too perfect. It almost looks like messaging within messaging, that it's not the singular message that's being said. It's almost like the compounded messages are saying something. I'm going to send that to crypto just to cover my shit.
I'm surprised there's not a tweet in there that they're going to uncover and publish by tomorrow that says, back in 2012, this person said, I'm going to try and kill Trump on this date at this golf course on the 6th green. Like,
exactly. Like there's some sort of crib key that's going to solve that algorithm that's going to be like, oh my God, here's the link to this. This guy was sending messages between him and another foreign government, and his entire Twitter profile was just a cover. It's too fucking perfect. It's too clean. This guy's not Hannibal Lecter. He's not the killer from Seven. He was too sporadic. He was too unclean. He left too many paper trails. There's just, this guy's not a pro, but he has connections. He's on 6 different fucking networks on TV. He's on ABC and CBS and NBC. He's on the White House steps wearing a $3,000 suit, but this guy's a roofer. Doesn't this all just not make sense? I'm not saying there's a conspiracy. I'm saying it's fucking weird.
Yeah, and the fact of the matter is, when you post that much hate about anybody and if you threaten violence, you're going to get calls ahead of time.
Yes,
you're going to get a visit.
Yes.
And you're already going to be on the radar. So the fact of the matter is, for them to just have suddenly discovered this guy.
Yes, thank you.
Something is wrong.
Yes, he's going to have a fucking body detail. The guy's going to have a team assigned to him. He's going to be on the top 25 most wanted for the Secret Service. His picture is going to be distributed at every event. They are going to have scrolling images of him at the check-in stations. This guy is going to be a fucking target if he shows up. If he gets on a plane, he's going to be red flagged. If he makes a purchase over $500 or sends money, he's going to be flagged. There's too much here. Mm-hmm. This is my point, and I'm not saying
a mountain of evidence. Yeah.
Yes, there is too many warning signs that were missed with this guy. It doesn't make any sense. And the lady is out there, and she hears gunshots, and she doesn't run. Sees a guy coming from the sound of the gunshots, and she decides to be G.I. fucking Jane and pull out a phone and take a picture of his license plate. Do you know how close you have to be with a phone to take a picture of somebody's license plate? Do you know how quick you have to be?
About 20 feet max.
There's two, and then this guy is running out of the woods, and you heard gunshots, and your first inclination is to take a picture. It's all too weird. Where is she, by the way? Why isn't she writing a book? Why isn't she on the fucking lecture circuit? Why isn't she on late night shows? Why isn't this person writing a book?
The only way they could have made this any more believable is if they'd had Bruce Willis play the starring role. And they're going to find Jack Black's body, buried in the woods later, and the guy drove off in a minivan. That's the only way this is going to be any more believable.
I am not saying that this is our own government, because I don't have enough information. I'm not saying it's a foreign government. I don't have enough information. But look what's happened in a matter of 2 weeks. You have an attempted assassination. You have a sniper's nest, by all accounts, which he waited 12 hours to shoot Trump. He takes some small arms fire, probably a handgun is what I'm understanding, decides to flee, gets caught by taking a photograph of his license plate. The guy's smart enough to drive in the slow lane in between other vehicles, thank you for the donation, and drives the speed limit so he doesn't have attention drawn to him. They get a task force together to pull him over. They get him with no weaponry whatsoever at all. The guy looks like a meth head surfer, but we've seen him in multiple different clothing. He registers as a Trump supporter, votes for Trump in 2016, makes contact with hundreds of different public officials, Hundreds. He tagged Nancy Pelosi. He tagged fucking Nader. He tagged Schumer. He tagged Trump. He tagged Ted Cruz. He tagged Kamala Harris. He tagged Klobuchar. He tagged Bernie Sanders. He tagged Tulsi Gabbard. This guy has literally like screams. Put him on the top 25 list. He then goes ahead and has a Biden and Kamala Harris sticker on the back of his frickin' truck. He owns property in Hawaii and owns an $850,000 bungalow, but his records and his tax records do not line up with that. Where did the personal loan come from there? Where's the audit from the IRS if he's paying in cash? Why does he have 3 different homes? How was he able to go ahead and get a flight without being on a radar, gets into Florida where the president is going to be playing, nobody knows about it, finds a rifle with an obliterated serial, which means that he has some sort of contact with somebody to provide illegal weapons to him, or he has a stash or cache of weapons, which also screams what the fuck. He's got over 30 issues with the law, including owning a weapon of mass destruction. And this guy just decides to walk into Palm Beach with a fucking SKS, set up a sniper's nest for 12 hours and waits and doesn't even take a shot. Something's weird. That's all I'm saying. Something's weird. Something doesn't make sense.
Very.
And has 6 different license plate. Either this guy has read way too many books or this guy knows what he's doing. Liv, I know you want to go. I'm just going to say anything that you have to say on this.
It doesn't make any sense. I mean, I don't know if we'll ever know the whole truth, but I don't know. I don't know. Somebody said, if this really is a distraction, what's so big they need to simulate an assassination on a presidential candidate?
It's not even that it's a distraction. I'm just trying to tell you that there has been less done, or okay, just 5 more minutes. Leroy, your job is to protect the United States, and your job is to watch funds going from Qatar to Lebanon to going to Houthis to going to different terrorist groups, okay? Your job is to track those funds going in and out. You are not given the proper tools and parameters to do so. Your command knows that there are several different wire transfers and money transfers that are going to take place in the coming days that are going to get you funded and get you the operational infrastructure that you need to continue your mission. But you've been told to stand down and not allocate resources to these transactions and to focus your eyes on different AORs. Okay? But you also know, and your command knows, and your entire focus has been to do this one job. And you know that if we miss this, Americans are going to get killed, sailors are going to get killed, and you have to kind of go out of the parameters of your AOR in order to execute this. Do you do it? Do you partner with your command master chief? Do you partner with your skipper? And do you say, listen, I understand what they're asking, but guys, we've got to, this is what we're seeing. Do you go to command and make the argument?
Yes. And you make every possible effort to acquire every piece of evidence legally, right? And you use that exact argument. You say, if we don't pursue this to the fullest extent legally available to us, then we are putting Americans at risk.
What does your command do at that very minute? There's 2 things that they're going to tell you. They're going to tell you 2 things. They're going to tell you to shut the fuck up and to go back to work.
Fire me on the spot.
No, they're not. Or it's going to be escalated up the chain of command. And your concerns will be broadcasted not as a lowly chief or a fucking an IS-2, but as the command master chief or your captain or your lieutenant is going to go ahead and broadcast your concerns as a command concern and bubble it up to get that thing taken care of. Okay?
Yeah,
Is that
you're gonna have
fair?
to sell that. Yeah, because you're gonna have to sell that to the triad first. You're gonna have to sit down with them in a meeting and say, "Look, this is the situation, right? And you're either gonna get their backing or you're not." And at some point, it will reach a level where somebody will do exactly that. They will say, "Look, this is not warranted. It's time for you to now not bring this up ever again and let it go and go back to work." Or they're gonna get your back and they're gonna push it up to a 3-letter.
Okay. Once the 3-letter has it, almost done. What is the next step if that 3-letter has done some? How about they went ahead? They have some sort of backdoor deal that has been negotiated between the State Department and that country to allow those wire transfers to take place in order for a greater good operation that we are not cleared for and not read into. What type of message are we going to get?
That they're taking over the case and to forward all the evidence directly to them and delete everything out of your delete everything out of your inbox.
You're going to get blackballed. You are just, everything is going to go fucking dark. You are going to be completely ghosted and everything is going to be forwarded to command and command will forward it to that 3-letter agency. And you essentially are going to have a fucking, like your leash is going to get yanked. And the entire command's going to walk into the fucking jick like this. Boys, that's the last fucking time we talk about this. We're done. We're moving on to Bravo Charlie. That's it. Right. It's done.
Your captain will literally look at you and say, "I can't wait to never talk about this again." Yeah.
None of that has happened in this scenario. Not one fucking thing. So something is weird. Somebody fucking released that letter, and that letter should never have seen the light of day. That guy shouldn't have been on the fucking roof. The guy never should have had a rangefinder. Fucking Routh never should have had that nest. They should have walked the perimeter. They should have had dogs. They should have had motion sensors in the fucking woods. Everything. All of this after Butler should have taken place. None of it took place. What is going on?
Yeah.
This is a community that doesn't fucking make mistakes. We don't make mistakes after 9/11 because we made one of the biggest. We made one of the biggest in Pearl Harbor. These are complete black marks on the intelligence community. This is fucking amateur hour is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does that make sense? Okay.
Yep. Feel better?
No, not at all. Not at all because it's weird. It's just weird. It's just foreign. Tell me this doesn't feel foreign, dude.
No, it's very weird. I don't like it.
It's very weird. All right. You get your minute. Go. Sorry. Long night.
Long night. Yeah. So we talked about a lot. We talked about the current voting patterns. We talked about the potential for conspiracy theories and Trump shooters. And, you know, the next couple of, I can't wait for November the 5th to come around. This is going to be very, very, I see things in the headlines that are going to ramp up. Things are going to get hotter before they get cooler. And I don't know what November holds for us. My gut tells me that, you know, everything is neck and neck. Things are still very close. I'm hoping that the polling data has enough air built into it that is siding for Trump. That's what I'm hoping for, but we'll see. That's my minute.
Mistakes of this magnitude. There are redundancies, is what I'm. Here's my minute. There are redundancies. The DOJ doesn't wipe their ass. The FBI doesn't wipe their ass. The CIA doesn't wipe their ass. ONI, NSA, without permission. Do you really believe after what happened at Butler that the Department of Justice didn't walk in and say, all right, department heads, if you fucking ever allow multiple fuck-ups of this magnitude, you are all going to be sitting on a fucking satellite station in the middle of the Antarctic. Your pensions will be pulled. Things like this, they get cauterized immediately. Not like this. There are too many multiple fuck-ups, too many multiple failures that have taken place. Something isn't right. That's all I'm saying. The United States government has survived in a world of clandestine operations where mistakes do not bode well for a country. That's what I'm trying to say. It's like our intelligence apparatus is completely fucking like a Cracker Jack box. Liv, what do you got for us?
Would like to thank Joanne Thomas for ordering some Moab coffee and a mug.
Nice.
So thank you very much for that.
Yeah, Joanne, that's not going to be filled until next Thursday. The reason why is my coffee guy is on vacation. It's all freshly brewed. He does not prepackage. I'm not kidding. When you crack open that bag, you'll understand. Everyone will tell you. It's the whole house just smells like coffee. It's so good. Anyway, just want to let you know. Anything else, Libby?
And thank you everyone for the donations. Really appreciate it.
All right, everybody. We do appreciate you very, very much. Very excited to see us within 3 digits on our goal. That's what we're looking for. Leroy, thanks for staying late tonight, man. I love you. I know how busy you are. I appreciate you. Get out of here after you're done.
I will be on Wednesday. I will be here. However, I will not be here Friday. So after this week, things will turn. My schedule will return to normal, and I will see you Mondays and Fridays. But this week, I'll be on Wednesday.
Hey, this is from Marky. He's a fellow Navajo. He's a Navy guy. Sorry. He says, yeah, someone at HQ approved an ID.10-T form without blinking an eye, and it's fucking insane how out of whack everything feels currently. That stands for idiot form. It's strange. All right. Thanks for the conversation. Thanks for entertaining me. We appreciate y'all. Olivia, I know how tired you are. Thank you so much for staying up with us, staying late. You have tomorrow off. Enjoy it. And I will go ahead and carry water for the next day or so.
Homework. That's what I'm going to be doing.
All right. Love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching the Don't Unfriend Me Show. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks, Leroy. You're the man.
Good night, folks. Peace.
Good night, everybody. See ya.
Adjusting transmitter output.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me Show with your hosts, Matt, Leroy, Amy, and Olivia. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on all major social media channels at The DUM Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.